Greetings, travelers. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kahi.
And we're the Genshin
Genshin
guys. How's everyone doing? We just want to tell you all. Ready, Kahi? Say no.
Happy New Year!
Okay, let's get started and start this new year off right. Welcome all. This podcast is for fans of Genshin Impact, the mobile game made by Hoyoverse, also known as MiHoYo. Here we talk about our opinions, experiences, and dreams about Genshin Impact. If you like our show, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the podcast. So before we get started, it's been about 3 weeks since we recorded our last episode. It is for me right now in Japan, the new year. Kahi, how are you doing today?
Full. So many days where I'm just eating a lot, having fun with family, friends, just getting around. I had a great lunch, and so I'm just kind of kicking back, enjoying this cooler weather. The cold air seems to be coming back. It was getting a little bit warm for a while, but then, we got our trade winds back. Yeah, it has definitely been a long time since we did a proper recording. No interlude this time, maybe later, maybe for good reasons coming up. We're going to have some pretty interesting announcements. Overall, been finishing up all the anime from this past season. And oh my goodness, I was not expecting. I think I told you about this in another episode too. There was an anime I was watching called Bocchi the Rock.
Yeah, I heard it shot up. It shot up to like the second highest rated anime of the season after Bleach.
Oh my god. It won, I think it won Anime of the Year on Anime Trending.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
It's that good. Yeah, I have not laughed that hard in a very long time.
I'll check it out.
And I saw the manga, the original manga, which is like a 4-panel thing. It's like a webcomic. It didn't even look nearly as expressive as the anime, but man, they just completely revamped the show. They adapted it very well, but just added their own personal touch now that they can make the story. And maybe one day we'll have an anime podcast. Who knows?
Yeah, I've been watching Blue Lock, actually.
Oh, how is it?
It's so freaking good.
I need to start that. It's still ongoing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think now that I'm finished with everything else, I might start a Blue Lock pretty soon. But cool. I know like next week, like all the new anime is starting up again.
Yeah.
And there's like some really good stuff that I'm looking forward to. So, but what about you, Josh? How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. A lot of stuff happening. I guess I'll just let you know here. So everybody who's listening, and Kahi already knows, but I am going to be moving out of Japan, out of Tokyo, and to Vancouver, Canada, where my wife is from, and we went through a lot during the pandemic, and we realized, we don't have any family here in Japan. There's a lot of things we want to do in the future, and it just makes more sense for us to go to Canada for now. So I'm American, but I'm going to be going to Canada because I'm married to a Canadian, and we're going to be there, doing the podcast. I am quitting my day job. Woohoo! And
congrats!
I'm quitting.
Or I'm sorry. I'm not too sure which one.
No, it's definitely congrats. Like I really wanted to focus on content creation for a while, and I felt like my day job was one of the things that was holding me back in terms of like how much energy I have to use at work, and how much time I have to spend there, and going to and from work also is already an hour commute for me. So, it's a lot of time lost and a lot of energy lost too. So I'm going to be focusing on the podcast, on my stream, and content creation stuff, just trying some different avenues, and then possibly finding a more passion-based fun job in the future that in Vancouver. So, and I know there's a bunch of possibilities. So hey, Canada fam, if you're out there, I'll see you soon. but yeah, so I'll be moving very, very soon, like next month. Oh, sorry, this month, January, and we'll be doing our best to get back on track as soon as possible. But that's why Kahi said like there might be some interlude episodes, just to keep us on track with our weekly schedule. Though our time for recording might be all over the place while I'm moving. But I'm really excited to move and to start this new chapter in my life. Japan was great. It was really difficult being here during the pandemic. So soon after I moved here, but at the same time, like I'm really grateful for all the experiences I got here. My Japanese has become very very usable. Like I really enjoy speaking Japanese, and teaching people in Japanese was part of my job. So yeah, I'll definitely be using it in the future. So you'll hear it soon, I'm sure. So I've been doing that and just trying to figure out everything about moving is like my biggest priority recently. Um, just because yesterday, I had for lunch at my last day at work, Kahi, I had Kua Aina, you know, the burger place.
Oh, what? Oh, really? Up
Yeah,
there?
yeah, Kua Aina is like really popular in Japan because it's like a very Hawaii esque like restaurant, and like every Kuwaina you go to, they're always playing Hawaiian music. It's like there's like
Oh,
trees
that's
and stuff.
awesome.
It's super good vibes. So anyway, there's one next to my work, and I went there yesterday as like a last dinner sort of thing. I mean it was like not it was like lunch,
Last
but
Supper.
yeah, the Last Supper. 最後の晩餐だ.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. It's been really busy, but hey, I'm glad to have made it into the new year, and here we are. So to start, that's how I've been, and I'd love to start our podcast today by introducing our topics, which is starting with, of course, my week in Genshin, Genshin news, Wander impressions, TCG, the Yokai and Windtrace events, and all of our community discussion questions that we have not been able to answer for the past 3 weeks. So thank you all for your comments and for waiting, and we hopefully have a really really great episode for you today. Before we get started jumping into our topics for today, though, there is another announcement that I do have, which is that we made the live stream goal. So I got over 30 followers from you guys here at the podcast, from people on Twitch, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like really great because now I'm really excited. We get to do our live stream. It's going to be my last live stream from Japan. We're going to be doing it on for Asia time. It's going to be Saturday, January 14th, and for America time, it should be Friday, January 13th. So we'll post the details later on Twitter. I'll also post the details in the description for this podcast. So if you can make it, please feel free to join us. We're going to be playing some fun games. Maybe Kahi's going to do some riddles. Maybe I'll do some voice actor challenge. Maybe we'll play some co-op. We're going to we're going to do our live community discussion questions as well. So please, please, please come and join us. It's supposed to be a lot of fun, and great way to start off a new year with this community. Thank you all so much for all the support you've given us up until now, and we plan to do the podcast for much, much more, and hope to have much more fun with it. So thank you all, and we will tell you the details later. Now let's get started with our first topic of the day, which is our weeks in Genshin. Boken da boken! 冒険だ冒険! Okay, so, Kahi, how was your week in Genshin?
A lot busier than I thought, than I anticipated, because I was doing one thing and then realizing, maybe I'll just do another thing, and it just keeps snowballing into other stuff that I'm finding out to do. I was first of all trying to do some treasure hunting in Inazuma because I am trying to get the Sakura tree to level 40 because I just need to unlock that last layout so that I can start playing around my teapot.
Right?
After that, I just went down the whole rabbit hole of trying to rediscover all my old characters again. I'm still looking through my whole collection and really trying to figure out, do I need any particular characters? And really the question is no. Everything I want is just a want at this point. There's no need. I don't need Ayato. I don't need Faruzan really, even though I have her. I didn't really need Wanderer, but it was actually pretty cool that I have him. So going forward, I know that I still have my eyes set on Dea, but after that, I'm just gonna go reinvest all the time and farming into my old characters. I'm trying to find a place for Lisa in my team again, and she's actually doing really good with the emblem set. Just trying to find some new team compositions again. Just rediscovering my account because I have a lot of characters, but I don't have a lot of weapons for them and artifacts. Which brings me to the next thing is I actually rolled on the weapon banner and I got two 5-star weapons, which is awesome. I got the 5-star what is this thing called? It's one of the 5-star catalysts. It's like a book, but it's
Uh,
not the
it's
Skyward one.
so it's Lost Prayer of the Sacred Winds.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
that
one I
one, and
have
I still
on
have
Wander. It's very good.
the one that I have on the Wander is actually a different one. It's actually a 4-star
Oh, okay. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it
catalyst.
later.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just rediscovering my old characters, doing some leveling for the weapons because I now have Ayato's weapon, but I put it on
Oh,
Ayaka.
you got Ayato's weapon,
Yeah, but
and
it
you
actually
gave
was
it to
really
his
good on
sister.
Ayaka. Yep, pretty much.
I see.
It's the best.
Wait, do you have Ayato?
No, I
Oh,
just rolled
right.
the weapon banner because I
That's
really
right.
didn't need him at this point. Because I'm realizing, yeah, I can't invest too much into just leveling the character. I need to actually fine tune characters I have now. Because I have Yelan and Xingqiu, which is the same, but they can actually do really well in different teams. So yeah, just rediscovering my whole account again. And what about you, Josh? How's your progress on your US account?
Okay, so a couple things. My US account is level AR 33, so it's still getting there. But I am more inclined to play it because I was originally gonna not spend any money at all on the US account, but I felt like there was too much value in Wanderer as a character for the early game when trying to explore and get all the Oculuses and doing some challenges and also not having full stamina, like just using wander, I have basically full stamina when I'm flying around. So and then I can recharge my stamina while I'm doing that. I just found so much value that I just felt like it would help me level my US account much faster. So my siblings actually gave me some like money to put into Genshin specifically. They're like, here, buy something, get a good roll or whatever. And so I just decided. So I just paid like like $50 on the US account and uh, got Wanderer. And it's sad because I was trying not to spend any money and I rolled a 5-star, my first 5-star on the account, and I got Mona. So I was like super disappointed. I was like, oh my god,
Wait,
there's
your
no
first
way.
5-star on that account?
Yeah, my first 5-star on that account was Mona, which was
Oh,
ironically my last five
Mona's
star
fine.
on my on my other one. Yeah, but the thing is, I have no DPSs. Like I have no DPS characters on my US account, and it just felt like the teams I was trying to make were all not good. Like they had no synergy whatsoever. Like the best thing I could do is I don't even have Xingqiu. The best thing I could do is put like Xiangling and Bennett on a team with anybody. Like that's the best thing I could do. And then when I fought like a fire enemy, then what? Like so I yeah, so I got Wonder and I ended up getting C2 Farazan while doing that as well. So I'm actually just basically using a team very similar to the one I use in my main account. Um, and so yeah, we'll talk about that more later. But my US account leveling from here should be a lot better. Should be a lot faster. I've even just like walking around a little bit. In a short amount of time, I see like a Dendroculus or Oculus or something, and I just go get it. I just fly up to it, or
Yes.
don't even bother with the mechanics or whatever. Like half the time, I can just make it. If there's like a challenge that's like a time based challenge where you have to like run somewhere or do something, it's so easy to just fly there. So yeah, I think it's going to be very valuable for my US account leveling. But what I've actually been doing the most in the past like 2 weeks was because of the community streaming event. I've been streaming a lot of Genshin, and I will continue to stream a lot of Genshin from here on out as well. But I wanted to give a few shout outs to some people who had consistently showed up to my stream and supported me during that time, which is really, really great. It was really nice to be able to talk to people. Everybody said that they came from the podcast, basically. There was two people I know that are my friends from somewhere else, but we had a pretty consistent group going. So it was at night around 11 p.m. when I would start streaming in Japan time. So a lot of the people I believe are from Europe or from Asia that were showing up at that time. I think most Americans are asleep by then. But shout outs to Paimon Yaka, Fangirl Kazu, Sulfa Laura, Kate, Sai, Aro, for just showing up at the stream and supporting. Thanks to those who followed. Thanks to those who subscribed as well. And hopefully, we'll be making some more content from here on out. That's going to be really fun to watch. So stay tuned. Now, during all the streaming, one thing I was doing was figuring out how to maximize my Nilu because I got her weapon and I have her, and I just felt like it was such a waste that I wasn't using her. And I'm trying to level Kokomi to like be the healer. I'm trying to do the full Dendro Hydro team. So right now I have Nilu, Dendro Traveler, um, Nahida, and Kokomi. And the cool thing about this team is that once Alhaitham comes out, I can just replace some people's, just move them around a little bit, and still make this like team with Nilu, Hydro, and Dendro only. Probably just replace main Traveler. Dendro Traveler with Alhaitham, and I can get this like really cool Bloom comp, like super Bloom comp. So I'm really excited to do that. Been doing TCG. My wife has been literally obsessed with TCG. Like she logs in to just play TCG, and then she like logs out, and I'm like, what the heck? What about your dailies?
It is, yeah, it's surprisingly addicting. I'm getting my Hearthstone itch scratched again, which is great.
Yeah.
I like
So
this game. I like this game so far.
it's fun. I'm not putting so much work into the Asian one because I know I'm going to be leveling up the US account one soon. I just needed to be at AR 32, which I just got recently. So now I can start doing TCG on my US account. And then we can play together. Yeah. So, so we'll talk about more about TCG on our later segment in this episode. But I've had a lot going on and I appreciate everybody that's been supporting. I'm going to have a lot going on from now on as well. But thanks for now and for up until now. So, appreciate it. So yeah, wow, we had some pretty interesting weeks in Genshin, huh, Kahi?
Yeah, a lot. A lot ever since our last actual recording episode.
Yeah, I mean it's been actually 3 weeks since we started playing, but you know.
It has been too long.
Okay, so let's move on to Genshin news. Okay, and in Genshin news terms, since we recorded our last episode, it's been a while, and there have been a lot of mini events and things going on, but I just want to highlight the major things that have happened. As always, the birthdays that have happened were Layla on December 19th, Dori on December 21st, Tanari on December 29th, and Zhongli on December 31st. So, a lot of December birthdays. 3 of them are from Sumeru. I think that's pretty interesting. I wonder if they like did that on purpose or something. But that's that's awesome. The birthday art is always so good, and seeing it is a nice reason to like go back and look at the characters and say see what you like about them. Another announcement that they had was Alhaitham and Yao Yao officially being announced as playable characters that are coming to the game. Most likely, we'll see more gameplay of them from the upcoming live stream, which has not been announced yet, but will assumably be announced soon according to their normal patterns. And there's been a bunch of small web events here and there, one for the Youkai, one for um, the new year, like just a lot of things that you should check out if you want some free Primo gems and if you want to see some little extra cute art and story things. Feel free to check out the web events and definitely download the Hoyoverse app. I definitely recommend that if you haven't already for the daily login bonuses, for the web events, for people's fan art, which is so good if you're really into seeing different kinds of fan art. Really, really amazing. So not much news, not much like impactful news, but a lot of prep for the new year probably and for upcoming patches. So I'm really excited for that. Okay, so news was not so much, but let's move on to our Wanderer impressions. Okay? Now Wanderer has a lot of things going on around with him, but there's so much we could talk about. But Kahi, what do you want to start with?
Well, let's start from like the root of his character first, and then we'll start to get into like his place in our teams and in the game moving
The root
forward
of the
into the
world
future.
tree.
The root. Let's get to the root of the character. What? Okay, so yeah, we'll start off with a story. I call it the tree dive because we're going into the Irman Soul interface where you go up to the tree and figure out like what kind of memories and data is stored into it, which is kind of alluding to perhaps this whole world operates very much like a computer, but that's maybe another discussion for later. Um, so Scaramouche discovers that the information that goes into this tree can be manipulated, And when you manipulate that, it manipulates the world, which he figures out that he can either erase himself or some other things around him in order to kind of give him like a fresh start. Now, I wasn't too sure if he was actually trying to, I don't know, get rid of himself or off himself, or he wanted to recreate himself because when he did that whole thing and then we got out of the tree, suddenly like he's kind of walking around Sumeru and he's like a blank slate. And I was actually going to think, I kind of liked that kind of character where he's like starting off fresh from like zero and then
Of
the little
course he
things that
did.
we teach to him.
You
It would
didn't
be
like his
awesome.
like angsty teen version.
I never did. I don't like those kind of characters. But however, I will admit that he did go through a nice attitude change. I mean, what about you though? Do you think he went through enough of a change or do you think he could have done more in this story?
No, I think so. The thing is, for them to build up this character the way that they have from the beginning, as this really angry, vengeful kind of character. Of course, he has the angsty teen thing going on as well. But I think that if he was to suddenly just change the attitudes, the kind of the way that he did when he returned to this like clean slate version of himself, then it might not go well with people who were fans of this build up that they made all this time. Imagine that you really like this character, and even his design, right? His design changed too, like color wise. His design, and so basically, if you really like this character and then all of a sudden he becomes playable, but he's a totally different character personality wise, he has a totally different design, then what's the point of it being the same character? And I think that many people would, I wouldn't say take offense, but maybe they wouldn't like that and it would change the whole point of the kind of character that been building up until now. So I think a
Yeah, it's a risk.
180 attitude
Hmm.
change would be dangerous for characters
Yeah.
reasons, but I think they did really well. Like you said, they mixed it together. They because his current self is his clean slate version plus his past memories, right? So
Yeah.
he's kind of
Which he still kind of feels shameful in a way, but he doesn't like to show it. He still has his pride. He still has his, I know, I guess you could still call it a god complex. He still likes
right.
to be his own character because he's been betrayed so many times, which is completely understandable why you'd like to, you like your alone time, you like to alienate yourself. It's completely understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean just his attitude of being so I guess spiteful in the sense that he doesn't trust a lot of people, so he's his own best person because he only knows him being like the best person around him because he's the only one that conducts himself in a trustworthy manner.
Right.
So
He's
he kind of
been
uses that to
betrayed.
say that I'm better than you people because
Yeah.
I don't betray other people. So, yeah. But
Interesting
well, I mean,
twist.
other than that, interesting choice. I mean, it is like you said, it is a little risky when you introduce his character like that and it stays like that for so long and people are kind of expecting to see that and then you change his character last minute and then are people still gonna like him or even roll for him, which now we know it doesn't even matter because
Yeah.
a lot of people got him anyways.
The interesting thing about that
So
was that they built him up to be this character, but then they did the thing where Hypatia connected with him and you saw his background, and so you go, oh, he
mm-hmm.
has some sad story as to why he is the way he is, and then when you actually defeat him in the story, of course spoilers, um, he when he
It's been a
like
while.
lose yeah when he loses the gnosis, then it you see like a vulnerable side of him, like that you see him upset that he's not able to keep the heart and that's what he feels like he needs to make him complete, and there's this whole sad moment and then you know falls down and all this stuff. But I think that they did a really interesting play here with the character himself and then using this whole Irminsul resetting thing again, right? So I'm really hoping that he has some big part in the story to come in the future with the other archons. But we'll see. Also, there's two things I wanted to mention from this whole thing. One is that Nahida wrote an allegory as a backup
Yes, that
Like,
was genius. I love that.
wait, what? Like, what the heck? How many of those does she
You
have?
know
You
how
know
to
what I mean?
cheat
Like,
the system.
you know what I mean? Like,
Because you know what that's
yeah,
like, right? That's
mm,
encryption. She figured out how to encrypt data from Irminsul
yeah,
in the form of a story. So now that we know that that is possible, anytime we hear of a story, we're like, okay, what does that story actually mean? You know, all those books that we collected at the very beginning of in
yeah,
Mondstadt when the game came out, are those actually encrypted stories that we're trying to hide from Irminsul, and that's actually talking about something real? Like, is that that's so clever because you hide something from yourself and you know exactly what it is when you find it out again.
yeah. It's a Nahida thing, right? Like, she's the only person that could know that that's how that can happen. And she has like,
Mm.
she is a computer, right? Like, her head is like a computer. Like, she has all the information. So she's like, I stored this in my memory banks or something like that. Like, I was like, what? What? So, the other thing I want to mention, was Paimon Yaka while we were streaming mentioned that there was, fun fact, there are unique lines when you're fighting Scaramouche the boss against Raiden. Did you know about that?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah. So if you're fighting the Scaramouche boss, then when you lose to him, like when your character dies, he will say worthless insect. But if you're fighting against Raiden Shogun, he'll say your shadow has faded, Beelzebul. And then
I guess I've never heard it because I've never lost. Humble brag.
listen, Kahi. I'm just kidding.
I
Okay,
know.
so
I'm just kidding.
so then the other one is, in the second phase, if he defeats most playable characters, he says, "Now your eyes have been opened." But if he defeats Raiden Shogun, he says, "Godhood is mine now, Beelzebul." So pretty cool. Like, just a very small thing, and it's only for Raiden Shogun. But just the like, I would love to see more in general, like even in party, in against bosses, whatever, like more unique voice line interactions between characters.
I think Azdaha does that with,
With yeah, he
Zhongli.
does with the Zhongli. So
Morax.
yeah, Morax. Yeah, so I thought that was really
Such a good
cool.
voice. I love that.
So more of that stuff would be really cool. But yeah, anyway.
I guess to wrap up on like story stuff, because it is kind of related to story before I go into like the character and zeroing in on his playstyle. So what did you name your wanderer?
Oh
And
yeah,
is there a specific reason?
I named him Windwalker because he does that.
Hmm.
That
Because he does that.
I didn't. I was trying to think of a cooler name. I was trying to think of maybe even a Japanese name because he's from Inazuma, and he has I don't know, he has so many different things that he could go off of. So I haven't thought of something yet, but I kept my name change for the future. So what about you?
I think I told you this in like a text, like it was a while ago though. But I named him Karasu,
Oh, right, right.
which is crow. So I didn't get that wrong, right? That means crow in Japanese.
Yeah, it makes me think of Haikyuu,
Okay.
if you've ever seen that.
Yes. Oh man, Haikyuu was great. That's kind of the reason why I wanted to watch Blue Lock, but I just had so much other stuff to watch. But anyways, so I named him Karasu for a couple of reasons. So those of you who don't know, Scaramouche in Japanese pronunciation is Sukaramushu. So basically, it's Karasu is Scaramu, like Sukara, like just backwards. So it's kind of like a play on his original name. So because he still has his original like attitude and memories. Also, crow, the name crow is actually from another game that I play. I mention this every time I get the
Destiny?
chance. Destiny 2, yes. There's a character whose original name was Uldrin Sov, and when you first met him, he wanted to kill you, and he didn't like you. And then when he died, he was resurrected, and of course he didn't know who he was, and he adopted the name Crow. And he too later on eventually got his memories back. So it's basically the same kind of character. So it's a dual meaning. So Karasu is crow, and Karasu is very much like related to his original name, and it's also very much like another story of another character that I like. So yeah,
Right, just to
Karasu.
clarify, you're saying karasu because it's like the beginning of his sukara, and you just like mix it around, right?
Yeah, hmm
Okay,
just playing around with the
yeah.
pronunciation
So
there.
it's, I guess it would make more sense because, you know how we say instead of we saying us saying Scaramouche, we say Skara.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then sukara, and then you mix skara around for karasu, and then it makes sense.
hmm
Cool.
Yeah. So it's like you gotta really read into it, but it just I like a name that has like a lot of meaning to it. I like trying to like, and of course I still have the name change because maybe it'll make more sense the more I learn about him. The more I'll
Right.
rename him when he shows up. Maybe I give him a superhero name when he shows up and saves us.
Oh, I forgot to mention the one thing I'm really curious about is since everybody forgot Scaramouche, who is the sixth harbinger?
I think everyone moved up a rank. Everyone below him, because
I
you know the
no,
first
they
five
they
are
they didn't
untouched.
though, but they didn't like they. If you check like
No, but the
child's
first five are still the
description,
first
yeah, but
five.
if you check child's description, he's still the 11th.
Uh, hmm, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I think it's possible that there is a different sixth, like because nobody remembers him as the sixth, so there must be a different sixth because Scaramouche,
So
child's number hasn't
so
changed.
child doesn't know who he is either. Then right? Child
Exactly,
doesn't
he shouldn't.
know.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
He shouldn't. That's a good point. So technically there are only 10, but he's still described as the 11th. Did someone take his place, maybe?
That's what I'm thinking. It's possible.
Because, okay, who would be able to do something like this or retain memory? Okay, because we know Jester, the first Harbinger, we know what is his name? Piero?
Piero.
And we know Piero is an old mage from Kyanria.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have De Torre, obviously. But he had to. Did he forget as well? I mean, he would have to.
Mm-hmm. And
We don't know
there's
anyone
no
else.
about Balladeer voice line in Child's
Yeah,
thing. I
I guess
just
we'll have
checked.
to wait till the next interaction.
Oh, wait! But I just found something. Ready? Just from looking it up.
Okay.
Uh, so it seems like the Harbingers have been around for a while, and if you
Mm-hmm.
talk to Mikhail in Mondstadt, the Fatui that's right by the teleporter, you know, there's always like two Fatui just standing there talking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he says, but enough about the eighth Harbinger. It's said that the sixth Harbinger seat has been left vacant for years. Is that not cause for concern? So it sounds
Oh, so
like
there it's just
they,
held in
yeah, it's
place.
just
Okay.
empty. Like the sixth spot is empty and it
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been filled for a long time.
Okay, that makes sense. They just don't have a sixth, but
But yeah,
there is still an official sixth. No one
but
moved up.
but that's the weird thing, right? How is if why isn't the sixth slot filled, or why doesn't everyone move up if the Fatui Harbinger rank is supposedly based off of strength? Why would you just leave a sixth slot? That makes no sense, right? If
Because
someone is
we.
gone or dies from
Hmm.
the numbered soldiers that are based on their power ranking, then realistically everyone would move up. You wouldn't leave a seat vacant. That makes no sense.
Well, Senora. I mean, Senora died. No one moved.
Right.
It's just empty, so it makes sense. But as far as like specifically Scaramouche's seat, if he didn't even exist in the first place in this timeline or in this revision
That
or
means there was
version,
someone else.
there would have had to been, or they probably just established, you know what, we're founding the Harbingers. There will be 11 of us. I found these people. But even still, if it goes back to that route, then yeah, there would have had to be someone to occupy the six, not just
Yeah, and the
we'll
eighth
have 11
now.
people
So
and I'll only recruit five. I'll skip six and then go seven to. Yeah, that
yeah,
wouldn't make sense either.
so yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to see where
Interesting.
that goes. Yeah.
I
Um.
guess now we can go into like his playstyle, like teams, weapons stuff. Um, do you have a specific team that you like to use him with?
Yes. So I like to use him with Bennett, Zhongli, Farzan.
So mine's is it's more of a thematic story related team. I have him with Raiden Shogun against his will. I have him with Nihida also against his will, and I have him with Mona.
You're
So
terrible.
all three, I am terrible. Yes, because you know what I didn't really realize. I didn't. I think I saw it earlier and I thought, oh, that's funny, and then I just completely forgot about it until now. You know how Scaramouche does that the thing where he kind of pulls his eyelid and sticks his tongue out.
Yeah.
Mona's illusion does the same thing.
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
and they're like the first character. He was like they're the first characters who ever interacted with him. Like when Scaramouche showed up, you were with
Oh
Mona
my
and
gosh,
Fischl.
let's take a picture of that, like with the idle animation and the Mona thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that'd
Just
be
put them
fun.
side by side.
Yeah, I have Mona. I can do. And
Um,
and I have with Traveler. This is the only two 5 stars I have on my US account. So um, but
yeah,
yeah,
so
that's so
yeah, more of
funny.
a thematic story related team. I might swap Mona out for like a healer.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he's one of my strongest. He's one of my strongest characters right now. Like I have the Lost Prayer of Sacred Winds on him. I have him at C1. I have him with a really decent artifact set of his, of course, the Desert Pavilion Chronicle set, the new one, and he does a ton of damage, especially when buffed by Bennett and buffed by Farzan. And I have Zhongli for, of course, the purpose of not getting hit out of the air while I'm attacking. So I am really, really. I think he's my favorite character to play right now, and I think he will be for a while because I love the fact that he
He is fun.
flies. I love that. I love the way his burst looks. And I love how versatile he is because when if I want to stand there and just attack, I can just keep mashing the button, or if I want to dodge, I can dodge and then do those little wind missiles, and then I can feel like I'm still doing something even though I'm not. Like I have two plans of attack. I can just keep attacking, or I can dodge while attacking and still do damage. So, and it feels nice to fly over stuff. So I'm really and the cooldown is super short. So it's just really cool. Like it feels like you can really play him. And I remember like watching a video on YouTube about hyper carries and how hyper carries are interesting in the sense that they are the characters you get to feel their gameplay the most. Like you get to feel like you're playing as that character, like Sino or Shao or Scaramouche, because they're out on the field a lot. It's not easy to feel like you're playing as Fischl when you all you do with Fischl is you go on the field, you throw the bird down, then you switch. Like when are you playing as Fischl, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a lot of characters in this game who are support off field, and you never get to be them. So that's why it always feels good to main DPS a character that you like. And for the characters that are built to be main DPSs, you really get to feel their gameplay. And for me, that like I'm really feeling Wanderer's gameplay, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm not doing swirl. I'm doing animo damage using. I have a C5 Farzan, and I have Bennett, and then I have Zhongli, and I'm just throw up the shield, throw up all the buffs, and then slash 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 slash. I was trying to get his weapon. I lost the weapon once to I think Skyward Atlas, so I just gave up after that, and I didn't feel like spending more money because I spent money to get his C1, because I wanted the attack speed buff. So I have the 10% attack speed buff from his C1, 10% attack speed buff from the artifact set, and I wanted the 10% attack speed buff from his weapon, but I'll get it next time it comes around. But he is for now my one of my strongest and one of my favorite characters to play in Genshin right now. And then of course he's good for world exploration.
So while I was trying to figure out like a good playstyle for him and teams and like weapons, artifacts, and all that stuff,
Uh-huh.
I found out that when you're in the air and you do the dash, I think I had a question, and we were talking about this before he came out when we were going over first impressions. I was wondering if his like air dash would be like would count as a sprint, and it actually does. And the
Yeah.
reason why I know this is because I have the wine and song catalyst on him, and the ability or the I guess the effect of catalyst is stamina reduces the stamina consumption of sprint or alternate sprint by 14%. Additionally, using a sprint or alternate sprint increases attack by 20% for 5 seconds. Now, you can visually see this that you're getting a buff, like a lot of other weapons and stuff, when you have like those little glowing orange arrows going up and up and up whenever you have like an effect from a item. So I go up in the air, nothing happens, but when I sprint, then I see a buff appear on him. So I am getting a 20% attack increase every time I dash.
Mm-hmm.
The best part is that not only does it look perfect, it's like a blue and white glowing book, which matches his outfit perfectly. Um, the description of Wine and Song says a songbook from the aristocratic era whose composer has become forgotten. It chronicles the tale of a certain heroic outlaw.
That's so funny.
This is the perfect book. It's a 4-star book. I'm like never gonna take it off of him because it matches him too well. Even if I get a 5-star, I just got a 5-star catalyst. I can't put it
Wait.
on him
But
because
so it's this main stat is energy recharge, right?
yeah, energy recharge. But the reason why I have that is because I'm using the Shimenawa set,
Mm-hmm.
which I lose energy because I'm doing, a skill and I lose 15 energy, but my normal
Right.
charged and plunging attack damage is increased by 50%. Now, when the new domain opened up in Sumeru in the
Mm-hmm.
desert, that's like the animal set,
Yeah,
plus
Desert Pavilion
15%
Chronicle.
animal
Yeah,
damage. It only gives you 40% extra,
but it gives you 10% attack
but
speed.
you have to use a charge. Even though it does that, I still get on the artifact set, I still get
Yeah.
plus 18% attack and 50%, bonus to my normal charge and plunging attack damage. So I think I like this set better, even though I'm still trying to farm that domain to
Yeah.
get a good 4-piece set because I still haven't tested that 10-piece effect yet
Yeah.
because
I would
I've
try
only
it.
ever gotten one good piece.
I see. Yeah, I farmed it a lot, so I have a really good set.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that book you just got, the Lost Prayer to Sacred Winds, that's the book I'm using on him. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's
Yeah,
one of his best options because
I feel like
it
it
gives
is.
you
Yeah,
movement speed too. So when you're in the air, it counts.
10%. Yep.
Yeah, and then it gives you
So I'm torn.
crit damage, one of those. So and that gives you
I'm so
base
torn.
5-star weapon stats. So I think it's worth it. You should just try it.
I know, but I'm a cosmetic player.
Oh yeah, I
I'll
mean,
eventually when I level it up
sure,
because I just got Ayato's weapon. I'm leveling that, and I'm
that's
still
true.
leveling up Kazuha's, his parasol,
Oh
his
yeah,
umbrella.
from the event, right?
I, I'm like running out of materials here. That's why I gotta really pick the ones that I got.
Yeah.
Because that 4-star book on him right now is like it's already level 80, so
Yeah.
it's good for now while I level up everything else.
Oh man, it's so hard for me to want to level up my US account when there's still so much work I have to do on my Asia account. Okay. Well,
But yeah,
yeah.
Wanderer is good. Hopefully, we'll see him in the near future, but maybe we'll kind of like sense that he has his hand in something as we move along because he said he'll be, helping us out from behind the scenes. So, yeah, hopefully we see him sooner than later.
Right. He is still a really good character. I definitely recommend him. He's better than I expected, honestly. So, and the world of exploration, like I said earlier, amazing. Can skip through a lot of puzzles very quickly, can get around very quickly. While you're in flying mode, your stamina recovers. So that's always really, really good. So, any last thoughts on Wanderer, Kahi, before we move on?
I am genuinely surprised. I like his playstyle. I still want to try and get a better artifact set for him so that I can know exactly what I'll have him stuck with for a while I work on others. Because I tend to like get characters to a certain level and then just leave them alone. Like my Zhao is fine
Mm-hmm.
because I told you he has like 100% crit, good damage, and have his 5-star weapon, so he's fine. I mean, I'm trying to get a lot of other characters to that same spot too. Mona is kind of leveled off there. Beidou, I still have to triple crown. Still need to. I ran out of those damn coins. But yeah, Wanderer, good surprise. Makes sense. Aesthetically great. And yeah, super unique. I like this guy.
Cool.
So next up we have what's the next one?
Next up, we're going to be talking about Genius Invocation TCG.
Hey, also another surprise.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's very, very fun. It is very cool. Even if I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but my wife has been obsessed with it and she's never played a digital card game. I don't even think she's played a normal card game before. Like this is just so captivating because it's Genshin. It's there's a lot of chance involved. So even if you're not super, you don't have a super built up deck or whatever it is, you can still get really good rolls, really good cards at the right time, and really satisfying gameplay with the elemental reactions. So, well, what are your thoughts overall on TCG so far, Kahi?
Like a lot of games with like mechanics, especially like turn-based games where there's phases, it was a little hard to get into at first, I'll admit. But like the, you just gotta keep playing with it because it's a PVE or player versus environment or computer, so you don't have to worry about like playing against real people and getting just whooped. I mean, it's fine. It's a nice casual game mode. So the more you stick with it, the more it makes sense, and it becomes very easy very quickly. Um, the the turn phases are still something that I'm trying to like figure out. Like, am I gonna be going next, or am I gonna be attacking next? Because it just helps when you can see and plan ahead further on, like in the turns. It does make the game a little bit easier to kind of digest. So now that you know everything that's going on, but I feel like it is an incredibly well designed game mode that
Mm,
everyone wants to have as a separate game, which I can understand. But like Genshin is kind of this all-in-one game. It's always been like a
right.
bunch of mini games here, questing, outdoors. You know, you have people who go into like the Spiral Abyss. It's meant to have something for everyone inside this one game. But I don't really feel like it has to be a separate app or separate
Mm.
game, although it
Nah,
could
I'm
easily
I'm
be.
1,000% sure that it will not be a separate app anytime soon, and possibly forever, because it's part of Genshin, like you
Yeah,
said. It's part of what's in Genshin. So I'm just glad it's permanent, and not like a limited thing,
yeah.
because that would be terrible if it was like a limited card game.
Yeah, do you have a certain deck or a certain team that you like? Because I have mine.
Oh, so I haven't I haven't experimented too much yet with different decks and things, but because I main Yoimiya, I wanted to find a deck to use with Yoimiya. And so for a while I was using Yoimiya, Jean, and Ayaka to try to use swirls and melts. But recently, I I found that the way that Yoimiya works with her having to activate her fire buff and then attacking sometimes doesn't work for me the way I wanted it to work. So for now, just to push through a lot of fights with the computers, I've been using Ayaka, Kaya, and Diluc, and just melting everything because Diluc is super strong. So I really like Ayaka's card, and I really like that Jean forces you to switch even without overload. So those are kind of some of my favorite character cards. What about you, Kahi?
I am I'm really liking the Geo team because I used to play Hearthstone a lot, and one of my favorite modes and one of my favorite decks in Hearthstone was like the gaining armor mechanics. So it's
Oh
basically
my
like
gosh!
not just health, but like overshield health.
Right.
I like that because it increases the difference in health pools between the character you're attacking and your character. So it's the same as attacking and they get hit by four, where you hit them for two and you gain two. You see, so there's still a
Mm-hmm.
difference, but it also allows me to live longer. So the longer the game goes on, anyways, I'm actually in a better position every turn. If I'm protected, it gives me more time to set up because I mean, when you set up Noel specifically, um, did you play with Noel yet?
No.
Okay, Noelle can wipe the whole board by herself without even switching to other characters. That's how broken she is.
What? Really?
Because you keep give, yeah. Because if any of their opponents have an element applied to them, if you hit someone with a geo damage, What does that do? That's a crystallize. You gain a shield. So a lot of the Geo cards revolve around giving you armor. Not only that, when she does her elemental burst, her normal attacks do 2 extra damage. And I'm giving her like Wolf's Gravestone. So if their HP is 6 or lower, they're getting one shot. That is a guaranteed kill. So I don't have to get them down low or worry about interactions. I just survive until she has her cards and you win.
Interesting.
Because I can just dump all my other cards just to make her do a basic attack. That's the whole mechanic.
So wait, who's your team then with Noelle?
So it's her, Ning Wong, and the Mitatro, the Stonehide Lava Troll. I
I
just
see.
got him, but I just wanted the all Geo, because yeah, they're just really tanky characters, and
Nice.
like I don't have to worry about having different element cards, and oh, I only have my Geo person, so like every card I draw, I can apply it to someone.
Right.
So, dude, I really like this combo, and it's just like gold cards, shiny cards, shiny abilities. I like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Well,
that's my favorite.
now I know your team strategy, so I will be building a team to fight that on my US account. Okay, thanks.
Good luck.
Okay, yeah. I actually haven't started TCG on my US account yet, but I will soon, so we can play. So yeah. What about have you? How far have you progressed in the adventure mode, basically?
Um, I know like when you go up certain ranks, like character ranks, I think I'm at character rank 5, that it unlocks like a new area where you can go and, battle a whole bunch of people in that
Region.
certain city or
Yeah.
town or region, right, right. I think I just unlocked the Inazuma adventurers that I can challenge, but I haven't gone there just yet because, of course, I'm still doing everything else in the game. This is still like a side game or a side quest mini game mode,
Right. There's no rush
which
to do it too,
it's
which is cool.
right. Yeah,
I would
I love
just
how all
recommend
the
doing
rewards you earn.
the tavern every week.
Yeah, and I love how all the rewards you just earn because like I have all the animated, well, not all of them, but like the characters that I use a lot, I have their animated card backs or
Right.
fronts. Yeah, which is awesome. So I really don't want them to introduce any kind of paid shop yet because it's
Mm.
way too
No, I
early.
think they already mentioned that
And
they won't. Everything can
right,
be earned in
yeah,
game.
because they really don't
Yeah.
need to monetize
Heck,
this. Genshin already makes its
they
money off
barely
of the
even have
bears.
they barely even have costumes for characters, and they still make so much money off of them.
Barely.
Speaking of costumes for characters, Ayaka and Lisa are rumored to come next.
Oh, Lisa?
Yeah, so I thought that was why you
Oh
were leveling up
God.
Lisa, but I mean, I was gonna
Oh,
start leveling
I
up
had
Lisa
no
for the same
idea.
reason. Yeah,
Well, I guess I'll level her up again.
yeah. So and it's really exciting too. Like we'll see if they announce it. I don't want to like spoil anything for those who are not
Just a
into leaks,
rumor.
but that's the
Okay,
rumor.
okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
Summertime Lisa. Oh my God.
yeah, Lisa. I mean, wait, what time? Wait, what Lisa?
Summertime Lisa.
Oh no, it's not gonna
Because
be
like
sometime.
Jean and Barbara, theirs came out around summertime.
I see, I see. Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. But back to TCG. Do you have any improvements or feedback that you wanna mention, like things that you've noticed while playing, or just maybe even with the system of how you progress in general?
I don't know when. Maybe this is just me not keeping track, but like I don't know if the opponent gets the same dice rolls that I get, or they're rolling their independent ones. I don't know how to track that. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, wait, how are they attacking 3 times? So I don't know, like, are they using the rolls that I get? Am I re-rolling for both of us? It's
Oh
just that's
no,
one of the things I'm not
I
entirely
see.
clear on.
Like the when you roll on the left, this shows the number, right? Like how many
Hmm.
die they have,
Right?
right? But everybody's rolling separate. It's just
Okay, it's not in an obvious place where I can see like, oh, they're using 2 of this element, or they
correct,
also have like
correct.
an omni element. It's not in an obvious location, so I
Well,
it's hard for me to keep track of what they're
there's
doing and
no way
why.
there's no way for you to. Like there's no like
Right.
part of the strategy is you know how much gems they have, how many dice they have, um, but just like you, they can use card effects and abilities to generate new die every turn. Or for example, there are some
Mm-hmm.
weapons like sacrificial where like you attack once and it generates a new die of that element, right?
Yeah.
The in the turn. So there's no way to see which they have, but you can see how many they have left to determine whether or not you think they're going to make another move, and
Mm.
then you can maybe end your turn early if you want to go first next turn, or you can just chance it. And usually that's what I use to determine whether or not they're going to make an attack on me or not, and then I prepare for it that way.
I guess I'm just so used to like the idea of a dice roll happening like on the table across the board. Like I'm assuming the opponent can see that, but maybe I'm trying to make it too realistic in my head. But
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
I,
that's
I
like
think if this was played in real life, each player would have their dice rolls in front of them in a little box that the other team
mm-hmm.
can't see. Um,
Yeah. So I'm
yeah,
just the visuals of it makes me think that, oh, should they know what I have? Should I know what they have or
right.
not?
I've
There's a
played
little bit of a disconnect
I've
there.
played a couple times with my wife, so I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. As far as like feedback, I mean, the card backs are great. The board is good. I mean, they have a unique art style as well. One thing I really reminisce about Hearthstone is like their designs and their graphics and the way like they have like simple card, shiny card was just really well done. So their animations are good. I mean, the painted style of the cards matches what Genshin art would look like. I just
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't know if the art could be improved in like another type of animation, maybe some kind of other shine to it. But maybe it would hurt the graphics or animations or something because I still have to remember it's a mobile game with
Yeah.
asset limits. So yeah, maybe it's just a nitpick, but
Oh, I'm surprised. So
cosmetically,
you
I don't know how
don't
they would
like
add on to it.
you don't like the art style?
No, it's good. No, it's totally good. No, it matches Genshin style. But as far as like
You don't
the
like the art style? I'm just kidding.
it I never said that. It's good. It's nice and shiny. I like how they're still it has a shine or a gloss to it. But if they were to I'm trying to think of how would they improve that if they were going to improve it in any way. Like I'm trying to foresee like how could they add on to this other than just more cards?
Interesting.
Because eventually down the long way, there's going to be a card that you introduce that's either a neutral card or one that's specific to an element that it's going to be everyone's going to say, oh, it's game breaking, oh, it's broken card, oh, broken this and that. I mean, for a card game, yeah, you introduce one thing, it could actually mess up everything else.
Hmm.
So it's usually why card game apps are also very large on their own
Wait,
because
are we still talking
they
about
keep
aesthetics?
expanding cards. I mean, aesthetics, but also like just from a development standpoint, what else should we expect? And should we be concerned in any way? I mean, probably not, but I'm just curious about if it is able to evolve enough to keep it interesting because eventually at some point
Hmm.
there's just you're playing the same thing over and over again without getting a reward.
Well, remember, it is a side thing, and you're not supposed to
Mm-hmm.
get any
That's
rewards
true.
for PvP whatsoever.
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think that the value of this game will come from the community tournaments. Speaking of which, I want to do one
Oh,
of
I
those.
didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I want to do one of those. Like I want us to host one of those, so we'll talk about that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Once I move to Canada, we can start setting that up. And like seriously, like I really want to do that. And so, by the way, if you're interested in a TCG tournament, it will be on the America server. But if you're interested to join, let us know in the comments because the more people that say they're interested, then I will start pushing up that in the priorities if it looks like our community wants to do that. So I would love to do that. So let us know, okay? Um, as far as me for feedback or improvements, I think it's in a really good place. I think that
Yeah, I
the
agree.
I think that the system for moving, like for progressing, is pretty good. It does time gate you the same way that like the it time gates you that the same way the what are they called? the reputation quests do every week. So right now, if you don't do the tavern, you fall behind on like the XP cap. Before you get to the end, you're not able to catch up to people that are already ahead of you. So, but at one point, it all evens out, and there'll be a max level, and you just play normally and play the tavern events and play against other people. But I think that I haven't seen the end yet. I'm not max level. I don't even know what max level is, to be honest. I believe it's 10, but I'm not sure. And if you get to the end, is there a way to still keep getting points? Is what I'm curious about. Because say I want points, but I don't need XP, but I want points. How do I do that? Is it only tavern battles? Because if that's the case, it's going to be very slow. So I want to see how that progression system changes over time. But right now, it's good. And right now, it makes sense. So, because some people, the first day, really just wanted to hit max level. Like, they really just wanted to go. My wife is like playing, like, she's like, why can't I level up anymore? I'm like, you beat everyone already. Like, what do you want?
What? There's no more? I
Yeah,
want more.
exactly. And so now she actually started playing. She was doing all the PVE. She did all the PVE so far that she can do. And now now she's been playing online against other people. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so amazed that she's so into it. Like, it's really cool.
Thought you were gonna say proud.
I mean,
I'm
I
so
I mean,
proud.
I'm proud, but at the same time, it was just I knew I was hoping she would catch on to it, but I didn't know she would catch on to it way more than me, like way more. So I'm still trying to focus on my main game stuff. So, but I'm excited. We're gonna do some stuff with TCG in the future for sure. That's why it's there, right? So yeah, TCG. Let's look forward to it. Let's I think we can easily do a whole podcast about TCG stuff in the future. And definitely live streams and things.
Yeah, and so speaking of like mini games and side events and going around in the game, I guess we'll talk about it briefly, like the Yokai and the Windtrace events. Uh, do you want to? Okay, do we want to talk about Windtrace first or the Yokai
Let's
event?
talk about the
Just because I
Yokai
feel
one
like there's
because
more
it's about to
involved.
end.
Yeah. Mhm. Um, is this the first time where they just completely like confirm there is another world of just beings that just waltz right into our world?
I think they kind of talked about this when we met. I mean, besides the Adepti being a thing already,
Yeah. I mean, it's not
but
another world though.
they mention yokai and things with Yaimiko, right? And
Oh
with
yeah, here and there.
yeah, I don't know. I guess so.
Because I just, as far as like I know, back in Liyue, the Adepti, Cloud Retainer, and those people, they're just in a up the mountains. But the Yokai is quite literally a different realm. That because it doesn't sound like they travel to it. It or like they just walk, across a valley or across a mountain and they're there. They're just because they don't see humans at all. And then suddenly this one wanderer shows up. So I'm still not 100% sure like how the heck that happened. Like where did he go? Like
So maybe it's like
where
a
is this
Miyazaki
area?
Spirited Away esque crossing
Yeah.
some sort of metaphorical bridge kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Just because I mean this could. There's always been like animal people since the very beginning. You have Diona, you have Sucrose, you have Goro, and you have animal people, but like it was never explained exactly why or where their people came from. But this is kind of like a transition or slowly bringing it up, like, oh yeah, it's actually been here this whole time, and now we're kind of fleshing it out. And I want to know for sure if it's like an actual zone or portal or just realm, because it's sounding like it's a disconnected part that's away from humanity in general, and then there's like a special way to traverse between these two realms. That's what it's sounding like to me. I could definitely be wrong. I might need to read up a lot more about it, but like as far as how it was presented in the event style, it just sounds like he wandered into the place, which is like, yeah, the whole Spirited Away kind of thing. Because it's never the hard part is I'm trying to like see what it is like in the game from the game perspective because you don't you see the forest, but obviously in canon lore, like the forest is way bigger. But then I'm trying to figure out like, okay, where could this actually place actually be in the game? Can I like wander around there? But obviously they can't build it. But that's one of the things that stood out to me. But what's weird is that they also confirmed that an inanimate object with enough magic power could become a living being. Did you did you catch that, or is that am I misinterpreting something?
I'll say it one more time.
So the the woman that showed up originally was the fans that they used,
Right,
and then with enough magic, she became sentient and became an actual life form.
right,
Is that right?
correct.
Right. So so there could be a character like that. There could be other people that we eventually meet up with. That'd be great. But
By the way,
that's a very interesting
they
origin
totally
story.
showed Yaimiko as a fox. You remember
Oh
that?
yeah, in the background.
Remember I told you
Yeah.
like I was like she should like
Was
turn
she
into a
white
fox.
hair?
No,
Was
she
she
had
white
pink. She
hair
was
or
pink.
no?
She was pink.
I can't.
She
Okay, I
was
couldn't see
on the
because she was.
shoulder of the other person that she knew. I forgot the name, but she was like
Oh right, right.
with the other shrine maiden person.
Wait, but wasn't there another character in the background that had like white hair, like another white hair fox lady?
Was it a fox lady with white hair?
Yeah, like someone like was doing like a frame by frame, and they're looking at all the characters in the back, and there was another white hair fox lady. I mean, it could have been pink and just been in a sepia tone, but it looked white to me.
Hmm.
Could have just been a background character because face is the head's turned away, but that's the only other character I thought.
I'm
Uh,
looking. I'm looking up now.
oh, um, I mean, since we're on this subject, I don't remember where she was mentioned, but she's always mentioned in the same story as Goro. You know who
Yaimiko,
Miss Hina? No, you know Miss Hina.
Miss
Do
Hina.
you know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
No. Okay, because apparently she has the same like color and hair as Goro, but is like where does she show up? She showed up when you had that musical event where you had to play the musical instruments in Inazuma. And there's like a card, like a wooden cutout of her.
Wait, so we've seen her?
No, she was just. We've only seen like art of her, but I don't think she's an official character or playable character. But
Oh, she
she's just
does
a
look like
character
her.
that.
She looks like girl version of Goro.
Yeah, I just I have no idea where that came from,
She has to be
but
playable
I
in the
just
future.
remember.
Come on.
Well, here's the thing: we've seen good art of characters that are not playable in the future, like all of the other, damn it, what they're called, yakshas, all of them. They
Oh,
have great
oh
character
man.
designs, but
Yeah, I wish they were playable. I saw some
rip,
really great fan art of them
rip.
recently, and I was like, oh
Mm,
man, multi nai. It's a waste.
yeah. But yeah, that's just one of the things that stood out to me about the Yokai story event. I mean, the game was fun. However, I just really would not recommend using Mona or Ayaka because of how they run.
I know,
You
right?
can't move side to side perfect. I thought I was gonna be like, oh, I have a permanent speed boost, but no, when they're turning left and right,
It's
they
yeah,
have
it's
to go
very
forward
slow.
and rotate around. It's so annoying, so I just can't use them anymore.
Um, who did you pick for your two partners?
I chose the two best characters.
Ayaka and
I chose
Yoimiya.
Kazuha
Got it.
and Ayaka.
I just Ayaka and Yoimiya.
Oh no, in the first round you could only pick like a few of them. So in the first round I picked Kazuha,
Yeah,
but in the second time you could pick, I picked Ayaka.
yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure I
Of
did
course you picked
Ayaka,
Yoimiya.
Ayaka and Yoimiya. Yeah,
Mm. Wait, Ayaka you could pick the first time around too?
yeah,
There's two rounds though. Ayaka was in the first round?
yeah. I think so. I think
I don't remember
it
that.
was Ayaka,
Mm,
Kazuha, and Goro, right?
no, it was Toma. No, Toma was in the
Oh,
first round.
Toma. First round is Kazuha Ayaka Goro. So I picked Ayaka. And the second round is Yoimiya
Hmm.
Tomasayu, and I picked Yoimiya. But on my wife's, I picked Kazuha and Toma. I think.
Now I'm getting confused. I'm pretty sure I picked Kazuha Nayaka
Did you watch someone else?
because of shoot, possibly. Maybe. Oh, maybe I was just watching the characters. Maybe we were just interacting with them. Maybe I thought that's why they were on my team.
Oh yeah, no, they're like who you
Hmm.
walk with and do the whole Kimodamashi
Yeah.
event with.
I I do remember. Huh. Maybe it was Ayaka and Yoimiya.
You did
Yeah.
Yoimiya?
Anyways, one of the last ones. Oh wow, now I'm really confused
Oi
because there's
oi
a lot of
Kahi, don't
characters.
forget don't forget your partner. Come on, your Daiji no
No,
partner. Come on.
I definitely chose Ayaka. I guarantee you, I chose her.
Okay, so then who did you
But
choose for the second one? It's Toma,
it would have had to
Yoimiya,
been
or
Yoimiya
Saya.
because I remember Yoimiya running around.
Okay, if
Yeah,
Yoimiya
it
was
was
running around,
Yoimiya.
then it was Yoimiya.
Wow, there's a lot of characters that showed up, so I
Okay,
am getting
there was
crossed
a lot of characters in that event for whatever reason,
hmm
but
And
um,
Shogun out of nowhere.
and Shogun and Heizo and like just so many things.
Uh-huh. See, Hazel
Yeah,
makes sense because
Miko,
he's the detective. He figures everything out.
right? So yeah, that event was super fun. The story was interesting for sure. There is one thing though. It's one thing that really bothers me about the story event, and it was
Which
that
one?
the three yokai kids are just kids with masks, and they're supposed to be yokai.
Well, visually, that's all they could work with,
That
but
that sounds,
they're actually from the
but
yokai
but you
village.
see what I mean,
I
right?
could look past it.
It's
Yes.
it's
Visually, that doesn't make sense.
it's like visually
The
lazy
lady,
and
though,
confusing. Like I thought it was gonna be just kids that were playing and pretending to be yokai. That's what I thought it was. But then they're like, "Oh, we're yokai and we're weak and we're from the other world," and I'm like, "What?" And they're like,
you're literally human.
and it's like, "Oh, I've seen you before. That's a kappa." I'm like, "That's just a kid wearing a kappa mask." What? How can you not see? Are you stupid? It was very. I couldn't go with it. Like I couldn't go with that flow. Like it was
You weren't convinced at
no,
all.
it was too confusing. It was like kids that just had masks. They didn't even like have any extra gear on them, backpacks, different robes, anything. It was like the kid models that they've had the entire game, and they just stick a face mask on them, and nothing different ever happens. And I was seriously thinking, when are they going to reveal that these are just kids with masks? But actually, it was supposed to be yokai, and I was so confused. So I I think it was terrible. I think they should not do that. I think I would rather have a floating something, or like, just like that character model. Don't even make it run, just make it fly around. It doesn't like I don't it just I didn't get it. It was so confusing to me. And so it took me out of the situation a lot whenever we had to interact with those kids. So,
You know what they could have used? They could have actually just reused the Tanuki. They could have used the little bear like character models because they're in the game. They exist.
they could have just used
They could have
slimes.
just used those.
I don't care. Just use something else that's not a
That
human.
would have that would have been funny.
Just not like a
The
human
little slime
kid. Like
balls.
I don't understand. So so weird. Like I don't
But
know.
yeah,
That
yeah.
bothered
The
me.
story was interesting. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Story
But
was
yeah, the
interesting.
visual from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, story was interesting. Like this whole thing about these fans turning sentient and turning into this girl. It's just like nobody can figure that out. It's not even
It
like
seems
a
very far
yeah, it's
fetched.
not even a
Yes.
plot twist. It's just like, well, okay, like I don't. It was interesting by itself, but Hazo's trying to solve a mystery, and it just makes me think everything that was set up there was kind of I don't know. Everything was supposed to be a red herring in some way or another, but just to throw you off. But okay, yeah,
I
fine.
hope. Well, one thing I hope that Hoyoverse doesn't do too much of is yes, they are putting the lore into like little collectibles and books and things that you can read and inspect, and like they're putting lore in items. But what I hope they don't do is expect everyone to read all of it or have all of it And then when they bring up something in the story, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, this thing makes sense, right? No, because all that they've done is like the story quests. And so people are thinking, okay, I've done the story. I should know what's going on. But then if they pull something like this in like the main Archon quest, like, wait, who the heck is this?
Yeah,
Where is this person from? Like, wait, how are we supposed to know there were like animal people? We never even knew about them in the first place. You know, I just don't want like there to be an expectation from the developers to think that everyone has read it,
yeah, and I think
even
I
if
think
even
they
if it's in our inventory.
if they do something like that, like something like this, where they have this, you need to have a pre-existing knowledge of the context for of the world
Mm-hmm.
for this event, like story to make sense. Then I think they should just put that whole thing into a cutscene at the beginning of the event, saying something similar
Yeah,
to
and
this is
unskippable if
the
you expect people to know this.
yeah, like this is the in they do a storytelling sort of fashion with maybe the same kind of art that they've been using for these cutscenes, where they say, "This is the land of Inazuma. There is a secret realm that many know about but have never seen. It's the Yokai realm," and like this kind of explanation of the general context of what's happening, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's kind of impossible to follow what's happening, especially with these three little kids. If they had a cutscene that shows the quote unquote yokai in the other world look like kids with masks, then I could follow. But if they just throw kids with masks in the forest while everyone's trying to play a kids game, which is like this kimodamashi thing is like a thing that a lot of kids do, right? The in Japan, I'm saying, when these like tests of courage, they're like, let's go into the forest and not be scared, and they have like kids set up in the forest to scare you. Like that's a real thing. So I thought it was just kids in the forest trying to scare people, but it's supposed to be actual yokai. So if they had a cutscene explaining that this is what yokai look like in this world, then I would believe it more. And then they had the thing with the whole thing where the girl becomes a fan. I mean, the fan becomes a girl. The fans become a girl because they become sentient through magic. That is also hard to follow if you don't understand this concept of something that is so cared for that it has a soul. Like that is a very Asian, especially Japanese concept, and I think it's very hard for many people to follow if they don't have pre-existing knowledge of that and how it could work in this world. You know?
Well, I mean, to also be fair on Hoyo versus side, they did have an event with Kazuha and how he forged his sword and how his sword actually spoke and had intelligence and was sentient. And so maybe that was like their hint and saying, hey, yeah, this is possible. And then, I mean, objects can have
And
souls and
Kahi, if I
be
wanted to do that
intelligent.
event right now, how would I do that?
Yep, that's the next thing I was going to bring up. Yes, because
Yeah.
they do it as a limited time event. Only people who did that would have the context and understand that it's possible. Everyone else is
Yeah.
now just suddenly, hey, fans are people.
Wait, I just wait.
That's a
Is that cause was that Kazuha event? Was that an event? Event?
well, it's limited
or
time. You
or
can't
I
do it
think
again.
no, that's his story quest. Yeah, it's
Hmm?
his story quest.
Mm,
I'm looking it up right now. After you
like he had
finish his story quest,
chapter
Acer
one or chapter
Palmatum,
two,
chapter
because
one, chapter one.
wait, don't they normally introduce like the character stories like when the character banner kind of comes out, or
Huh?
like for example, like when Zhongli's came out, when Zhongli came out, his story quest happened at the same time after the Archon quest.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I think Kazuha's came out
Wouldn't that mean
later.
okay? That's weird.
Yeah,
Because normally, like, because we got Kazuha before we went to Inazuma.
yeah, that's why I think we didn't have that
Mm,
his thing yet. It says
so
here that
his story just came out
his story
later.
came out in 2.8.
Oh, hmm.
Yeah,
Well, I guess so. Okay.
interesting, right? I think because he's in the
So
main
I guess it
story.
is something you can get.
He's already in the main story.
Wait, but you get the sword. You can actually get a. You get his sword from his story quest.
Yeah.
No one else did that.
Yep. So
Hmm. Well, that's cool. Maybe that's a way of them making up for lost
it's
time.
so easy for all this to like blend together. You know what I mean?
It's a lot, yes.
Yeah,
Because I mean, and you have two accounts now,
uh,
so
uh,
it's even more for you.
some things are more clear to me now, though. Now that I know the future of Tevat.
I mean, that is a good point, yeah.
Yeah,
Because now you have more
I'm
foreknowledge.
telling you, it's actually really
Um,
interesting and fun to play through it again, but not like story wise, but not gameplay wise because I'm so weak
yes.
and the domain rotating
uh,
system thing, like not being able to get 5-star artifacts and et cetera is really it really sucks. And so actually what
what's
I'm
your
gonna
world
do, oh
level?
Kahi, I need your help actually. That
Mm-hmm.
reminds me, I need your help because I need to level up Wanderer, and on my US account I'm super weak, and I need to fight the Aeon Blight Drake. Like, cause I can go to Sumeru
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Even though I haven't even been to Inazuma
Mm-hmm.
yet, because I can just walk to Sumeru. So
Yeah.
I need help killing it. Anyway,
No way, I just one shot it for you.
yes, please, thank
I
you.
bring Shogun.
Yeah, I'm like we're world level four maybe. Yeah, very very
Oh,
low.
wow, you got a whole
Yeah, all my
4 levels
enemies
to
are
go.
50. So um, so yeah. Anyway, that was the yokai event. I thought it was pretty great. What about the Akitsu Hane Asobi? Like, how was that for you? The
Um,
the breakout game.
easier than I thought.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. It was a lot
I
easier than I
think
thought too.
yeah, the best is the hydro and cryo combo
But yeah,
because
100%.
you can just like yeah, you just have the ball stick to the thing, collect them all, and then shoot them
Oh
out wherever you want.
wait, Hydro Cryo? No, no. Actually, I mean that one's good, but my favorite was Electro and Cryo because it would just
For the superconduct thing.
yeah, so it just bursts through things like all the way through to the end.
Yeah, true. But I do
Yeah.
like I want to be able to like aim where the ball goes because sometimes you have these unbreakable blocks, or sometimes you're fighting like the little mini boss where you have to keep hitting it,
Right.
and you're on a timer too. So I don't want to have to wait for the ball to bounce all around and
My
try to get it to bounce the other way.
my general strategy was always use the thing that creates multiple balls and then create the shield on the
Yep.
bottom and then
Mm-hmm.
just keep, throwing as many balls around as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. That's honestly the best because especially if you already have some, they synergize so well because you have if you have more, orbs floating around,
Yeah.
that's more to keep track of. If you're on one side, you can't watch the other. So
And the
I
same
feel like
the
they're
the same
the
amount
just
of
they're the meta.
combo that you need to activate the multi-ball forming is the same to get the shield on the bottom. So even if
It's
you
30, right?
yeah, so even if you think you might miss it, as long as you make the multi balls and they come bounce back at you fast enough, then you can utilize the shield in the back as well, so you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, that was my general strategy, but it was fun. I'm actually really curious to see what the next level of this game is if they decide to bring it back. I wonder what other people thought about it. Let us know what you thought. If you're listening, let us know what you thought in the comments because I really like this event, and I'm really curious to see if they do more things like it.
You could probably do a co-op where like you're literally just playing Pong at this point. You have someone on the other side of the board, and you're just going back and forth.
I think
I'm pretty sure they could just add to that.
what would make more sense for this game mode is most likely like there are enemies spawning in the middle, and you take turns trying to kill them while attacking your enemy. And so like if the enemy misses the ball, then they lose points. But if you kill an enemy, you get points. Like there would have to be something like that, and it would involve elemental reactions. I think that would be like the most Genshin-esque way to do it. Because just playing Pong doesn't. I think it's harder to utilize the elemental reactions in like an interesting way. So, well, we'll see what they do.
True.
So
All right.
now let's talk about Windtrace because this is one of my favorite events. I know a lot of people don't like this, but Kahi, first of all, how do you feel about Windtrace in general?
I like it. I'll be completely honest. I forgot to start playing Windtrace because I was doing everything else.
Oh my gosh.
But I kept. Well, here's the thing though. I kept seeing clips. I see clips on YouTube and like Twitter all over the place of like people's strategies. I just like watching their strategies because it's more fun watching people play it
Yeah, my
than
wife
playing
thinks
it.
the same thing. It's really fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I'm noticing like a lot of times there's gonna be those really weird areas that somehow the game has geometry which allows you to kind of like fall into and like just get stuck. Like I see people hiding in chimneys. I see
I would do
people
that.
hiding like underneath the stairs. But the best one was like when it was in the one village in Mondstadt, where you're kind of like going around this windmill. Because it's just big enough where you can't kind of see fully around it, even if you're trying to like chase after someone. I saw someone like they're like going around the windmill, and then just at some point the person like breaks away and just immediately turns into like the object or goes somewhere else, and then they're just watching the other person still spiraling around the windmill.
That's
They just
funny.
completely lost track of them. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, I just what was the other one? There was like one specific place. Oh yeah, people are somehow finding ways to get out of bounds.
Oh, what? No, that's terrible.
I That is terrible,
That
but
defeats the whole purpose.
people are gonna do it. I know they're staring right at them, but you can't go past the barrier. So
That's terrible.
that's yeah, it sucks. I mean, it takes the fun out of it. But I mean, if they found it, I mean, sure, if the game allows them to do it, what they're gonna do it.
Like, to be honest, I would love Windtrace to be like a permanent game mode. I think the fact that it's not a permanent game mode makes it easier to play, though. Like, people are more willing to play it because it's only there for a limited time, and you get a bunch of primo gems and rewards for playing it. But I really, really enjoy the hunt and being hiding, like being a rebel. So I've been having a lot of fun. I've been streaming it a lot during this past couple of days, and I've just had a lot of fun moments where, it's fun when you're doing it by yourself, but it's really fun when people are watching you do it. And like you said, like you go and you watch people's streams and clips and things. It's fun to watch people do it live with you, and you see like, oh my god, how did she not see me? Like all these things are
That's awesome.
they're so funny. And I really really like this event. I love this prop hunt style, like turning into an object and trying to be smart about your hiding place and your positioning and your moving. I don't really like to hide low because people can accidentally just like spam their button and get you unintentionally. So
Mm-hmm.
I try not
Yeah.
to like if I try not to hide under the stairs, for example, because when people walk by, they might accidentally get you. If I hide under something, I try to make sure I leave enough space so that they can't accidentally catch me. But one of my favorite things to do, because I feel like a lot of people don't know this, is you can climb walls as objects. So I try to turn into an object and then climb a wall to make it look like I'm part of the scenery. And
Mm-hmm.
many people don't notice that. There's one map that's in the chasm, I believe. No, maybe it's not in the chasm. Oh, I think it's in the chasm, where it has wooden what are they called? Like support beams, wooden support beams
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Pillars or something.
yeah, like kind of pillars. And I turn into a
Oh no,
barrel.
beams. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, wooden beams. And I turn into a barrel and I stick myself on the side to make it look like I'm part of the environment. And the only time, even when I got the insight, even when I have a giant blue light sticking out of me, no one can find me. Like, I mean, in the times that they do, I just move around a little bit and then I go right back there or I go near there. And a lot of people don't know those strategies. But the one you're talking about, the chimney, I've been hiding in the chimney recently, and there are people who know and there are people who don't know. And so what I'll usually do is I will hide in the chimney, and as soon as I see them coming up to the roof, I will stealth. I will hide on the bottom for a bit, and then when I see them move off of the house on the map, then I go back up to the chimney because the stealth is very very strong. And if you think that they're gonna come get you, you just run. I don't think it's smart to wait anywhere. I don't think it's smart when if you have a chance when the hunter is coming to you. I don't think you should wait. You should run. You should move around an object in some way that they can't see you. But the one of the best things I've been able to do is once you learn on each map where the favor can spawn, it's best to hide nearby and then go get that so that the hunter can't get it. So I've just been having a lot of fun streaming it. I've been playing it on my American account, my wife's account, and my account. My wife says I can't play it because uh I'll get like a heart attack. Like it's so anxiety ridden, just hiding from someone. Um,
Anxiety and Genshin Impact? What?
what? Oh no. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with Windtrace. So I don't know. What do you guys think of Windtrace? Let us know. Comment. Come join the stream. While Windtrace is still going on, I will probably stream a little bit of it all the time, just because it's super fun to do until it goes away. So yeah, if we can get, it'd be really cool if we can get a group of four to play, or a group of five to play, four to play Windtrace, because you can do custom games, and I was doing that the other day with some friends, and it's super fun to like all be on chat while you're hiding. So yeah, let's try it, Kahi, sometime before it goes away.
That'd be awesome. Hmm. Well, I mean, speaking of like letting us know what you think, there have been 3 weeks where you've been letting us know what you think, and there's a lot of comments we got to get through, and this is gonna be a really special episode because kicking off the new year with like a nearly 2 hour long podcast. It's gonna be awesome. Gives you a lot of content in the meantime, makes up for lost time. So yeah, Josh, did you want to take the first question from our 3 week recap?
Okay, so from Genshin Guys episode 23, we asked you, what is your favorite piece of Genshin lore, or lore you think many people don't know yet? So Kahi, what was yours?
I think that not too many people know about, oh, what was the character? Ningguang. Ningguang, for a lot of you who don't know, I think, especially for those of you who got into the game like within the last year or so, I don't think Ningguang was even like an obtainable character. But Ningguang is I guess you could say the leader, almost like almost pretty much the effectively the leader of Liyue. She came from humble beginnings, and she actually grew up poor, and she grew up outside the city where she was like in a really rundown hut, and like was like a fish. I think she was a fisher. No, she knows how to fish and she knows how to cook fish. But a lot of people, when they first see Ningguang,
Mm-hmm.
or if they don't know too much about her, yeah, she grew up completely poor, and now she's running the whole city. I think a lot of people don't know that, and the reason why I know a lot of people don't know that is because not a lot of people do the hangouts.
Right.
And I can honestly see why. It's just a lot of dialogue, but I like it because it's a decision tree. You can kind of figure out more story. It flushes out more story. I would prefer to see more cutscenes, but honestly, it's just a way of you hearing the character talk about themselves and actually going to those places. So that's one thing I think people don't know about Ning Wang. What about you, Josh? Is there something that you think people don't know too much about?
I don't know if it's just people don't know too much about it, or if they just don't talk about it, or they've never really explained it. But I really like this interesting idea of Shenhe being Chungyin's aunt, because we don't know much about. Did you know that? You knew that, right?
Yeah, it was in the trailer,
Yeah, it was
in
in the trailer,
her
right?
character
In her
trailer.
like first
Mm-hmm.
trailer, but then they don't really talk about it like in game. Like that's not a cutscene that happens in game. You don't see them interact a lot in game, but and I know that people that were around then probably know that, and maybe people can assume, but I just like it because uh their characters are so interesting and different, and I want to know more about like the Exorcist families, but we
Yes.
don't get
Mm-hmm.
that much information. So I'm holding on to that lore, hoping that someday they're going to expand on it. So that's
Because I think
something I think about a lot.
they're also in some way connected to Chi Chi, because like they use like those talismans, and Chi Chi's kind of being held alive with one of those talismans.
Right.
And she uses the same kind of ability too. But yeah, so I guess before we move on, like we had like an episode where we talked about like our like what was it? What was the
It was
question?
like
Your dream battle.
what kind of weapons that they should use.
Well, no, no, this is like a longer ago, long time ago. We asked the question like, who would be like your dream battle, and I picked Shenhe versus Zhao,
Oh.
because Shenhe is like always under like this suppressed mode because of her
Oh,
earrings.
right, right.
Because I think now knowing that, and that Chongyun is somehow related, he might actually still have some of that bloodline in him. Like he may also have an ability to go berserk or crazy down the road. And that's why he also needs to keep having a popsicle, because maybe that's like his suppressor.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
oh man, okay. I'm gonna do the hangouts, Kahi. let's let, let's
There
do
we go.
let's do
Do them
hangouts
on stream.
for an episode. Let's make that like
Yeah,
an
that'll be a
interlude or
stream
something.
thing. That's content, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think a lot of people who don't do the hangouts, this would be a good chance for us to talk about it so that they can go do the hangouts. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that, everyone.
Mm,
Okay, we'll
yeah.
we'll do hangout episodes. I
We'll have a
promise.
plan.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to.
Okay.
So going to the community, um, we have. Ooh, I haven't seen this name in a while. Actually, I haven't seen this name at all. We have maybe a new person listening in. Hello, a Nana Marfo. Sucrose's animal ears were an accident from an experiment. I did not know that. That actually explains a lot, and it makes sense.
Is this from a hangout?
Actually, it really does make sense. Mm, no, no, because I don't think there was a sucrose hangout. But sucrose's animal ears were an accident from an experiment. Now
I'm looking
that
up.
makes
I'm
sense
looking up
because her
sucrose
abilities,
sucrose wiki.
sucrose's abilities are also like summoning like animal creatures, which is why they also have like little like flapping wings, or they might even be ears. Now that I think about it, but that is actually pretty interesting. So you're looking up the official answer because why you doubt our community?
No, I don't doubt it. I just want to. I want to know more. I want to know more. Let's see. Let's see.
You just like
Appearance.
command to F and just look for ears. Any mention about ears?
Um. Well, according to the Genshin Impact Wiki, it sounds like they are not an accident from an experiment. It sounds like they're hereditary.
Uh
So Sucra.
oh, what are you reading?
So for one thing, appearance. This is from probably the beginning, but it says Sucrose appears to have non-human blood as her ears are hereditary, which conceals a part of her hair. But that doesn't explain anything. And then it says if her friendship level 3 story, it says in alchemy, the process of trial and error coupled with determination to get to the truth is sufficient to bring you to your answer eventually. But with interpersonal relationships, there's added complication of having to factor in manners, moods, and other unquantifiable variables. To make things worse, there seems to be no room for an approach that relies heavily on making errors. Hence, Sucrose decided to avoid such variables at all costs and stick to her familiar methods in satisfying her curiosity. For instance, Sucrose has always been curious about whether she and Cattail's bartender, Diona, both whom have animal ears, have shared any ancestry. In fact, this was not a private matter, and most people would simply ask the question. But Sucrose was concerned that it would be a sensitive topic. She, for one, did not like people drawing attention to her ears. So, and then it just talks about how she talked to Diona and did some observations and stuff like that. But basically, they are not an experiment. They're hereditary, and she's wondering about how Diona, who also
Interesting.
has
Okay.
hereditary ears, how they're related.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so then maybe
Hmm.
yeah, so then maybe Nanamorpho, maybe you should check that one. So
Okay.
uh-huh. So
Either way, it's an interesting one because
yeah,
I would have believed the experiment.
I mean I would 100% believe it
Because
too. But yeah, but this is in her character story
interesting.
after friendship level 3, so you can check it out. Okay, so next we have
Okay.
Brendan Rudd and saying the entirety of the Albedo rerun event quest. Yes, yes. Like the fact that
I feel like
there's
that's more
another.
important than we're letting on.
Yeah, like this whole there's another Albedo 0 or Albedo 1 or something, and then he's like trying to murder Albedo to take his place.
Also his master. We
Yeah,
don't know who that is.
right. Yeah, I definitely encourage anybody who hasn't seen that. If you want us to talk about it, let us know. But Albedo's rerun quest is so interesting. It's like I think it's one of my favorite event stories. Like it was so interesting about like and just knowing about Albedo's history and knowing about how Albedo has come to be where he is now is so interesting in itself that I think it deserves like its own whole discussion because yeah, I mean just everything related to Alice to Dragon Spine, it's super cool. So definitely recommend that one.
Next up we have Sasuma. I love the Alice lore. Oh yeah, we were talking about that. I learned a lot from the episode you two did on her. I hope we get to meet her in game. Definitely think she is the third descender. I'm really starting to think she is.
Yeah, I can't wait to
because
find
of
out
just
more
how
about
much
her
she
too.
talks about things outside the game. Yeah. Next up, we have Yai Femboy Febs. Even though I'm not a Klee fan, her family past lore I find very interesting. Oh, yep. Alice and the dad. They do have a lot of hints, but I hope they will add more. Yep. Yep. Alice will definitely somehow show up. Who knows? Wait, do we know what element she likes or prefers?
Who?
I keep thinking pyro because Alice, does she have like an element affinity
I don't think
or no?
so. Honestly,
Eh.
I feel
I
like
keep thinking
Alice
pyro.
Alice would be she would be the first character that is like a new element. Like if they have like
Oh, that's believable
a
too.
gravity or a darkness element or like a
Or
light
light or
element.
dark, just
Yeah.
like true damage.
Yeah. So well, I'm really curious to see what they do with her because she is being made out to be this really big deal character. Like she knows more about the world than almost anybody else. So I think she has to be a big deal when she drops. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see where the game is at that point. You know, with Wanderer coming out and being a character that can just fly around, we're getting closer to like Honkai level of like interesting character gameplay. So I'm really curious
Uh-huh.
because Alice is eccentric and she's a genius and she's a magician. So I'm really curious to what kind of play style she'll end up having. So yeah, there's that.
All right. Next up, we have the Traveler. Hashtag Down Under. There are theories that the Traveler and their sibling can wield the element of light. The element can only be obtained if you wield all of the elements and is the most overpowered one. Hmm.
So I saw
I
this,
mean,
some theories of
yeah,
this, but
believable.
there is like the cutscene at the beginning where they're fighting the unnamed god. They're wielding light when they don't have the weapon.
Their swords are different, yeah.
Well, the sword they have the sword, and then the swords get like hit out of their hand, and then they just wield
Mhm.
light to fight, like just a light sword that comes out of nowhere, like out of their hands.
Yep.
And so they are attacking with this. But I think this was when they were not in Teyvat yet, so I don't know if this has to do with Teyvat itself. If you wield all the elements and it's the most powerful one, that is just a very, very theory based thing, but it would be really interesting to see what happens once we do wield all the elements if something like that changes.
The light and dark theory is nice though. Like if there were any more powers to come out, having a light and a dark element makes sense because even in other like games that have an elemental system, there's always like the what do they call it? The wild card ones where it's an element that only interacts with this other element.
Right.
Because it could
Like
be
the
that
dark
light or dark.
and light and dark thing.
Yeah. And last up for this question, we have Scaretto. Kaching isn't a cat. Well, yeah, she's definitely not a cat. I believe she wears that style due to being so insecure about her horns. I think that this is a key piece of lore. Wait, hold, Kaching has horns under there?
I'm pretty sure Kaching doesn't have horns.
Hmm.
So I'm looking right now.
That would be
Um,
even a bigger surprise.
yeah,
Like because I mean, Ito has horns. Yanfei
right.
has
We
horns.
know there are characters with horns, but I
Ganyu has
think,
horns.
as far as I know, Kaching is just a human.
Hmm.
You know?
I believe. Well, if, I would believe that she has insecurities just because of how she behaves. But are you looking at the wiki
I'm looking at the wiki right
right
now,
now?
but there's
Mm,
nothing that mentions
anything
anything
about
about.
ears, horns?
Let me see. Yeah, nope, just resembles cat ears, but she doesn't have a tail. But this cat ears are just like buns resembling cat ears on her head. Yeah, there's nothing about horns. I don't think there's anything where Kaching has
Interesting.
horns. So Scarlet, I would check that.
Mm,
Yeah. So
it could be somewhere else. Maybe someone else mentions it. Maybe she
well,
herself doesn't
I
mention
mean
it.
the wiki has like we had all of the character story kind of like before. Like we were, someone was Nana Marfa was saying, "Oh, Sucrose ears were an accident," but actually it's explained in the
Mm-hmm.
friendship
Then the
character
hereditary
story.
thing.
Yeah, it's like in the character story in the game. So the Kaching thing, Kaching isn't the cat. I do believe that, but I think that she's she just wears that style. There's not really any particular reason that's stated, and that she definitely doesn't have horns. So yeah, everything about her is implied to be a a human. and she believes that humans should take care of their own things and not leave everything up to the adepti and the gods. And that's kind of why she's where she is in the Liyue people who are his name I forgot, the Kaching. I mean the Liyue Qixing. She's the Yuheng of the Liyue Qixing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I think
What a
that
title.
this is why it's important, right? Because I think that there are a lot of things that people assume about characters, and like we were talking about earlier, the game does a good job of hiding all the lore from you. So unless you dig deep into the story and the text and reading stuff, you're not gonna really find a lot of these answers just from playing the main story normally. You have to really go out of your way to find out information like this. So it's really easy to assume things. So I would just be, especially with this whole thing, like we were saying, the animal people, it's not explained. So it's not explained very well at all. Like Sucrose having animal ears, Diona having animal ears, Kaching looking like she has animal ears but doesn't have animal ears. So it's very confusing. So I get why
Mm-hmm.
it you can assume like different things about the characters, but definitely recommend y'all go check your lore stuff if you know if, especially if you find something lore that you think is really interesting, like, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that, like just like we did. I would recommend not to take it at face value before you spread misinformation. Just go ahead and look it up and see if you can find it. Usually the wiki is a good place because everything is sourced from the game's in-game lore that is written down with sources. So that's my recommendation. But that's our
Well, this is why I like having lore up front in story quests is so important. Like I mentioned, like
right.
if I don't want the game to just completely operate under the assumption that, oh, everyone has that item. Obviously, they know, they've read it, they know what's going on. Because the game literally gives us letters to read, and I'm pretty sure no one reads them because we just have to give the letter to someone else or just hold it and then you just go to the next step. But I just don't want the game itself to kind of lead us down like this assumption. Because I mean, there's a lot of things that sound believable. But yeah, there's always things that we could always like double check. I definitely gotta double check a lot of my assumptions because I know based on our studies that maybe how it was worded is also kind of meant to mislead us. So yeah, that's why we should really do a lot more lore episodes. That would be great.
Yeah, we'll definitely work on that.
Now, mhm,
We'll definitely work on that.
yeah. So our we will definitely, yeah, from our next episode, from episode 24, if you could change a character's element, what would you change it to? So, Josh, is there a character that you feel could be or should be a different element?
Yeah, I want to change Traveler's element to Pyro. No, I'm just kidding. uh,
Eventually.
eventually, yeah.
Maybe like 2 years from now, yes.
No, but I would love to see a hmm.
Because while you think, I know mine already.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Yeah. So for me, it would be making Zhao Pyro. The reason why I think Zhao matches Pyro more is because it's a destructive element. Like he has a lot of his background is always around like I hate to say it, but it's around pain and suffering. And then for him to have his abilities do that kind of fire damage that could also damage himself makes sense that it's Pyro. It could also be Electro, but we already have an Electro Zhao. That's Sino.
Well,
So we
Shao
have
Shao was originally red, right?
Shao.
Did you know that?
Was it?
His design was
Shao was
originally red.
originally red?
Yeah. So maybe he was supposed to be
Yeah.
Pyro.
See, that makes sense. I don't know why he's Animo. It doesn't seem to match the idea or the philosophy or design philosophy of Animo, the element, because he stands out very differently among the other Animo users. And if he ever got an Animo vision, why? It just seems a little out of place. Maybe they changed it because they knew Hu Tao was going to be a pyro's spear wielder too, and then they said, yeah, we'll just change him to green. Maybe he'll look
Yeah.
better.
I mean,
I don't know,
it sounds like
but
maybe just from like looking at it real quick that they originally wanted him to be Animo always, but they made him red. But then they decided that because he's Anemo, it makes more sense to go to green. So because he's Anemo and he's green, that makes sense. But if he was red, then it does look like he could be Pyro character easily, design wise, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's my choice. What about yours? Do you have an idea? Anyone with the old switcheroo?
Um, like we don't need more of this, but I think it'd be really interesting if Ayato was Electro. Because he's like whoosh, 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 whoosh,
That'd be cool.
right?
Makes
So
sense.
yeah,
Or Animo.
it would be really cool,
Really
or
quick.
Animo, yeah, I guess so. But I think it'd be really
Fast as
interesting
the wind.
doing Dendro comps with that. But I love the way his normal attack works, so with his elemental skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Yeah. It does look like an electro ability
Yeah,
or
like a
maybe an Animo
lightning,
ability.
like
Mm.
like Kaminari no Kokyu, Ichi no Kata,
So
Heikireki Sen.
like a Demon Slayer
Yeah, like
reference.
yeah. Oh wait, did you not watch Demon Slayer?
Oh, I did, but it sounds like
Oh
it.
yeah, it's a Zenitsu, like his like lightning flash attack thing.
Yep.
His only attack that he ever uses. so so yeah, that one.
When he can't actually, when he's like completely knocked out and unconscious.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, going on to the comments, Mr. Mr. Leaks Scott, Ito to fire. Pyro
Oh,
Ito sounds cool.
Pyro Cow.
That flaming beam.
And when he throws it, he goes, "Well done." And he says like medium rare or something.
That is so good.
Oh man, that would
That
be
is
great.
such a pun. Oh my god, that'd be great. Well done, Mushi.
Well done, Mushi. Or he'll just say,
Oh,
"How do you like your steak?"
sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible, but you know.
So good.
Oh god, like Mushi is like a member of their team. Like he is.
I know, but
It's so terrible.
It's hilarious.
Oh gosh. Okay.
All right, next up we have Mr. Brandon Rudd. Jinyan to Electro, because physical damage characters really need superconduct. Also, electric guitars. Yes, absolutely.
That makes sense.
Makes perfect
That
sense.
that actually
Electric
makes way more
guitar.
sense. Like superconduct
Oh my
in
gosh.
Shinyan, if Shinyan was an electro shielder character with her physical
That'd be
damage,
great.
that would I agree. I think that would almost fix Shinyan. Like the thing is, like she uses pyrotechnics for her burst, so it makes sense that it's fire in that sense. But everything else about her would make more sense as an electro character. I think she would be much more playable. Dang, yeah, that's actually really
Yeah, I'm
interesting.
surprised how awesome that answer is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's like the perfect answer so far. Next up, Yaya Femboy Febs. I want to play Pyro Barbara, a healer that's fire. I know Bennett is one, but with Barbara's personality, it'd be fun to see her use
A
fire.
healer that's
I just
fire.
no, you know what? The first thing that popped up, that popped up into my head.
What?
You know when Barbara does her burst,
Uh-huh.
it would be actually pretty terrifying if like all of it is like a big fire
Oh my
explosion.
god.
Like, Mina, come on. She just yells and there's this fire explosion behind her.
Oh my
Doesn't
god.
look like a healing wave at all.
And
But
she's
oh my god, that's the first thing that showed up in my head.
You know what that reminds me of? Like, actually, want to see. I would love to see them add in or give more 4-star characters like the cutscenes when they do burst.
Yeah, I mean it would make sense.
Yeah, I get that that's like a
I mean,
5-star
they
separation
could
thing.
do it.
It's a 5-star separation
But
thing,
is it
but
really?
Barbara has it.
Mm,
Too much
I know.
favoritism. What's up with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, they realized there needed to be more of a separation of some sort.
I guess
So
so.
I guess that makes sense. But it's already in there. So yeah,
Yeah,
I could definitely see like all kinds of animations.
and you can see Barbara being
Next
super
up.
happy while she burns the world around her. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that's hilarious. Like Klee.
right?
Barbara and Clee would be such a great combo. Um, Scarletto, I feel like you could have. I feel it. If you have Noelle as Animo Vision, she'll be very happy and love it.
Yeah, she could
Hmm.
actually clean up those piles of dirt around during this
Yeah,
daily
she could
missions.
actually sweep.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
her animal could actually sweep things instead of like being a shield. I never understood. I mean, I understand like her, her resolve and it matches like the Geo feeling, but she's a cleaner. She's a maid, so
But she
either
should be
Animo or
water. Yeah.
Hydro. Yeah.
You know, it'd be cool though if Noah had an animo
Hmm.
vision for crowd control, it would be such a 4-star thing. But when you do your charge attack, it makes like a tornado and pulls everybody in. But only while you're doing a charge
Yes.
attack. That would also make sense for like the
Oh,
cleaning
that'd
thing.
be great.
Yeah. Like maybe
That matches
during
perfectly.
your elemental burst probably would make sense. So
Oh, that'd be awesome.
yeah, new characters, right? We'll see.
Peachy on Genshin. Yunjin, as the way she works, would be fun for Hydro and fits her soap opera theme.
I don't I don't I
Hey,
don't know if that's
I
I don't know
get
if
it.
that's how that works, but okay. Soap opera.
Fun. That's pretty funny though. Soap
I'm gonna
opera
clean my
with
hands of
Hydro.
this soap opera.
All right, so Yunjin as Hydro. I kind of like that actually,
Yeah.
because her very fluid movements. She's not very stiff like Geo.
Soap opera
That makes more
aside.
sense.
Soap
Soap
opera
opera
pun aside.
size.
Yeah, I think that gameplay wise, she would be very similar to Candace. In fact, she would be almost exactly the same as Candace because her elemental
Yeah.
skill is a shield slash counter attack, and her burst is a buff that gives your normal attacks extra damage. And so Candace does almost the
Mm-hmm.
exact same thing. So I think character wise, seeing her as Hydra would be cool, but I mean obviously gameplay wise, overall it would just be the same more or less. But yeah, I could see. I love Yunjin as a character. I love the opera theme, and I love that she has the really cool movements. So maybe yeah, maybe it would be cool to see her as a Hydro character.
Well, someone else who would be good as Hydro from the Traveler, I would change Ganyu to Hydro because I think that her E and burst would look cooler as Hydro. Hashtag down under. Now, here's the thing Ayato's burst is also exactly like Ganyu's burst, it's just Hydro. So Ganyu Hydro, Ayato Hydro, they'd become very, very similar. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's just saying that they're five stars really are trying to be as unique as possible, with the of course the exceptions of like Dendro Kaching, Al Hytham, um, and then
Want
but but yeah, here's the thing: Ganyu to Hydro, I think could work, definitely could. That would either make her very close to Yelan or very close to Ayato.
it
Trying to
kind of be
think,
like a
because
combination of both, really.
yeah, pretty much. Mm, I think Cryo just seems to match her personality a little bit, just because she is a little slow. I mean, because she's just tired all the time. So like, because Cryo slows down characters, and it's more of like a whiter color. I don't know. What do you think? Would it match?
I think
Ganyu,
that
Hydro Ganyu.
I don't know. I'm really used to her. I'm really used to her, like her the way she is now with like the shards of ice coming out. Because you're right. I think it would feel very similar to the other Hydro characters we already have. But if we're thinking about just Ganyu being a Hydro character instead, I mean, she looks like it. I don't know. I'm curious if we would when we're talking about changing a character's element. Do we talk about changing their design elements to match that element too? Because if Ganyu looks the way she looks now, I think she definitely obviously fits more with the ice. But um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would have to see it to decide for specifically. Like for like Shinyan being Electro, I could see that. Ito being Fire, I could see that. But for Ganyu being Hydro, I'd have to like see it to decide if I like it better or if it's interesting or not. Her
Well, because it is Hydro and Cryo are very close in design,
right.
anyways. So I feel like it could still work.
Yeah, her E would be cool for sure. And but her burst would just feel like Ayato's burst to me. Like it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I use them together. Ganyu and Ayato, because they just freeze everything.
Oh, but if they're on the same team, then they both get the HP bonus.
Which benefits who?
Hydro? Pretty much every Hydro character benefits from HP. So, like, if Ganyu was HP, then she'd hit even harder.
Interesting. I mean, her attacks don't
Mm.
scale off HP though.
No, but like, if we're thinking, if we change that character to Hydro, then pretty much everything that comes with it.
Yeah, so she has more
But
HP.
I mean, I'm probably reading too much into it. But yeah, we're going over like design.
we're like we're like
redesigning
we're
everything.
picking weird things to be really picky about. Okay.
Well, next up, Todoroki
Shoto!
Shoto. Shoto! I would like to be Eula. Wait, I would like to be Eula to be Hydro. Oh, sorry. They meant I would like Eula to be Hydro. Just so that we have a Hydro Claymore.
Yeah, Hydro
I
Claymore.
feel that works. Yes,
Yeah.
that works.
I mean, to be honest, Eula is basically a physical damage dealer anyway, so the Hydro doesn't really, the
Mm-hmm.
element almost doesn't matter. But, so
But also her movements.
it actually makes more sense for her to be Cryo just so that she could do Superconduct, so that she can do physical damage. But, yeah, I think she would be cool as a Hydro Claymore, though. If she was a Hydro Claymore, I think she wouldn't be bad. And I think it would be nice if she had a Hydro Infusion, so maybe, like, similar to Candace. If she could Hydro Infusion
Mm-hmm.
her greatsword, that'd be really cool too.
And last up, we have Kazgruta. First that comes to mind is Scaramouche. I was very surprised he was animal. Yep, I think a lot of people were. I thought he would be Electro. It seems to fit his character better, and him being a puppet seems like Electro is more him. I agree. The idea of animal being more free spirited would match who he is now, who he becomes. So I feel like it matches the overarching theme of him now. But because we were introduced to him as Electro from over 2 years ago, leads us to believe that he's supposed to be Electro. I completely understand. Um, but what do you think, Josh? Do you think he is better now as Animal, or should he have been Electro?
I mean, we didn't really get to fight him or anything, so I don't really know what his ability even was before he has wind slashes the way he does now. Like, what does it look like? You know what I mean? To fight him, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What did he use
True.
a weapon? Like, I don't know. So
I thought he would use a sword
I thought he would use a pole
because he
arm.
has background in swords too.
I thought,
Polearm,
yeah,
really?
because he's like a clone of Raiden, so I just thought he had a different way of using a pole arm. But
Well, that's why I thought he would have like a sword, like a short sword,
yeah, well, I mean, whatever. He
because he
doesn't
has
have
the
either of them.
history
He has a
with.
freaking catalyst.
He
so,
doesn't have either.
so,
I mean,
yeah,
he has
I
blades.
think that yeah. I mean, if there's too much like what if conversation for this, but like we had 2 years to speculate on what we thought Scaramouche should be like as a playable character with the electro element, and then all of a sudden he's Animo. So, I think it's I was expecting him and ready for him to be an electro character, but I will say that I am glad that he is an animal character because of his like flying ability and his windblade weapons. Like we said earlier, he's one of my favorite characters to play because of how unique he is, and I think he couldn't be this way if he was Electro. It wouldn't fit his character as much, and it wouldn't feel as fun to play then in that sense. But I think, like you said, Kahi, the way that he is now as a character with animal element plus his interesting playstyle does feel really solid right now where he is. But you know, his attitude, his up until now, his old design, Electro, it was really cool. And if there's any character in the future that would be re-released under a different element, I feel like he would be a really cool one to be re-released under a different element. Either him or Child as an Electro character would be really cool.
All right, and now for our final question that we have left you all hanging for a week. What are your favorite and least favorite daily commissions? I would like to go first because I just want to say I really do not like touring light show.
Oh, really?
It's just the thing is I know for a fact my character overlapped onto that floating jellyfish, and it still didn't think that I caught up to it.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's a lag thing. I don't know if I'm looking at it from the wrong direction. But I know for a fact I have tagged that thing, but I still have to go chasing after it. So it just unnecessarily extends the length of that, even though it's technically one of the shortest daily commissions. It just feels frustrating. But that's mine. What about yours?
Well, that's your least, right? What's your favorite?
Yeah. Oh, favorite? Favorite one is probably defending the ley line, just because they just all come to me anyways, so I don't really have to chase after anything. You just stand still, just have like everyone come to that same spot with like Zhongli or Kazuha, and just quickly get it done. I
Interesting.
like I like the combat ones because it lets me. It's an excuse to test out like a team uh team lineup or something. But yeah, the ones that allows me to change how long a quest could take, or I know that I'm in full control over like what's going on. That's good. Just like it's the complete opposite of the other one, the touring light show. I know I did the thing, or like I got there, but now I have to wait for the things to like. I have to wait for my glider to glide all the way down. I have to wait for the little tethers to show up, and then I can finally get
What
all
one
over
time I
there.
happened to be facing the direction the thing was coming in, and I've tried to do it before, but I couldn't do it again. I couldn't like reproduce it, but I pressed the button at exactly the time the four leaf sigil spawned, and I instantly finished the daily from the first zip. And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "What?
Wow.
Wait, what?" I didn't even do it on purpose. It was just like a total accident, and it was like really interesting because I was ready for it, but I didn't realize how ready for it I was. So I guess I was really ready for
Oh,
it.
the mushroom. I think the mushroom one is funny too because you can like put Zhongli's like pillar and like Kokomi's jellyfish on two sides of the that little circle where all the holes are, and like their pulses would just hit all the mushrooms, and you just complete it in like
Wait,
3 seconds.
what? I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah, like any hit would register that you hit them. So you have like the pulsing pillar, and you have the jellyfish, the hydro pulse. Just place them at two different sides
That's
of
so
where the
funny.
mushrooms pop up,
I
and you just
always,
instantly complete
I
it.
always just switch to Hazo and punch them. Boom, boom.
That's fun too. That's fun too. But
Yeah.
I just if I have the means, I'm gonna use them.
Well, my least favorite commission is from just thinking in the past is probably the ones that just take the longest. So specifically the guiding the what is it? We have to like protect like the air blimp or something. I don't know what it is. Protect the cargo kind of thing, where the boxes are floating and you have to clear the path for them. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Maybe
Like
I'm trying to see if I know.
you know the mission where we had to destroy the hilichurl cargo thing and it like you had to like break it really fast.
Oh, but yeah, sorry, I
Yeah,
haven't done that in a
yeah,
while. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that
exactly.
one
We
now.
haven't done it in a while, but my least favorite is the opposite of that one, where you have to protect it because you have to bring it across some entire thing and it takes freaking forever.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, because we don't have those in
yeah.
Sumeru
Thank
or like
God. I
I
assume
think there's one in Inazuma.
there is. I think there's in Inazuma, but Sumeru is the best for dailies in general because all the dailies are pretty much really short. Like pretty much all the dailies are really short. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't like even the like you said the touring light show one. Even if you don't do it, the when you think you did it, like oh you missed the jellyfish and you have to keep going. The whole thing is still shorter than many of the dailies from Mondstadt and Leeway.
Yes,
So
I admit
I
that. Yes.
appreciate that much. So my least favorite is those really long ones, and my most favorite one, uh, like recently I was gonna say my most favorite one was this mushroom one, the one where you because I like going up
Mm-hmm.
to them and punching them, and just trying to do it as fast as I can, but. Even though you told me this thing with Zhongli's pillar, I'm probably still gonna punch it because it's really fun for me.
Yeah,
So,
it's still fun.
I guess one of my least favorite ones was actually the catching the weasel out of the ground before they patched it to make it easier because
Yeah, it was annoying.
it was so much and sometimes they you wouldn't know if it was stopping or if it actually ended up moving when you're trying to follow it in the dirt. And usually
Hmm.
I just stand on top of where it is. Like I stand on top of where it's going as it's moving. And then I couldn't sometimes I would just get lost because it really like when two of the paths would cross, one would stop in the middle and I wouldn't know if it's the one that stops is the one I wanted or
Yep.
something. So, yeah,
Mm.
I'm not really a fan of that one and it also just takes time, but they made it shorter, which is better, but it's still not that fun. If they made the lines a little more obvious than in the sand when it's moving around, I think it'd be easier too. But having to like kind of strain myself to like see where there's nothing, like it's just like a bunch of sand going blah, 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 like I don't know, it's not very fun for me. So yeah, so
Well,
let's see.
we definitely have our favorites and our least favorites.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got in the community. So we have another new name. I haven't seen this one. Octira. Favorite commission is giving a local item to the guy in leeway, since I can learn new lore depending on which item I choose. Least favorite is Thunderhelm Lava Churl in Inazuma. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that one because the Thunder one in Inazuma is on or very like next to water,
Oh, this one I
and
know.
that's
This
I
one,
hate that slam.
yeah.
If I hate those slams, it's because it's quick and it knocks you into the air or knocks you back. It is annoying unless you have like a good shield character, which is why Noelle is great, which is why Zhongli is great, which is why anyone that makes a shield is actually good because you can kind of survive that. But the local item to the guy in leeway, I don't remember that one. It has been a very long time since I did leeway commissions. Do you know this one?
I don't remember.
Hmm.
If I saw it,
But
the information I probably
it
know,
sounds
but
good.
yeah.
Hmm. I probably did I probably did this one because it sounds familiar. Like giving like you had a choice to give him a certain item. Oh, that might have been the guy by Ning Wang's palace because he's kind of a bit of a storyteller.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm remembering this guy now. Anyways, next up, Yai Femboy Febs, the tree one where you have to find the leaves and anything you have to fight that takes too long. That's so the one where you have to find the leaves,
In the Narukami
the
Shrine.
tree one. Oh, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wait, I
Oh
thought that
wait,
was
no,
like
those were.
people just tossing.
You're right.
They're tossing papers up there.
Yeah. Wait, the
But the
tree
one where you have to
one where you
find
have
the
to find leaves.
leaves,
Maybe it's that one. Like, cause I also thought it was that one,
it could be.
but
It
maybe
could be because they're
maybe
on tops. They're on the roofs.
yeah.
And the least favorite, anything you have to fight that takes too long. Yeah, I agree.
Agree.
Because the ones that I hate as far as fighting is like the ones on the Hilichurl. No, no. What is it? Destroy the Hilichurl towers.
Yeah.
Because most of my teams currently just have melee only. So if they're up there, I can't hit them.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
They're
Oh, you
annoying.
mentioned you mentioned the ley line ones. Actually don't like those
Mm-hmm.
if I don't have someone like Yoimiya or someone ranged also because sometimes there's just like a Hilichurl or like an archer or like one of those like guys in the standing in the back throwing stuff at you.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't come toward
that's
the
more of an
thing.
enemy thing.
Yeah, they don't come toward
But
the ley
like for
line.
the most part, yeah, the thing about sumo is for the most part they all just kind of come to the ley line.
Yeah, the Eremites, right?
Most of them are, yeah, most of them are melees. But yeah, I can see that. Next up, we have lifeless. My favorite commission is Dangerous Hall.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
Okay.
that I like that one. That's the one you destroy it. You destroy the hall.
Oh yeah, the destroy.
Yeah,
Okay, not the
it's
escort one.
super fast.
Every time I see Hall, I think, wait, that's the. I don't like the escort ones.
Yeah.
My least favorite is the ley line monolith in Dragon Spine. Okay,
Dragon spine ley
yes,
lines.
because in Dragon Spine, because you're in the cold
Yeah.
environment, so not only are you have to like defend while you have to find a pyro place, there's also like the frost archers, which is even more annoying. Next up, Brendan Rudd. Favorite is pigeon, duck, and child, just because of Timmy's reaction when you hunt his
Oh my
ducks.
gosh.
Wait, you had to hunt the ducks? I thought you had to feed the ducks.
I think this person hunts the ducks, even though they're supposed to feed the duck.
Uh, okay. Well, least favorite is safe
Yes,
conduct
that's the
because
one.
the balloon moves so
That's
slow.
the one I'm talking about. My
I
least favorite.
hate that one so much.
Yeah.
I hate it with a
So
passion.
glad it doesn't happen in Sumeru.
Todoroki
Shoto!
Shoto. The Elon Musk. The Elon Musk one I hate.
Yeah, the literal stuff.
Oh, that was a daily commission?
Yeah, those are dailies. Remember, like
I remember that being like a side quest.
there is a side quest that continues off of it after you do enough of the daily missions. I think.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. My favorite is the bouncing mushrooms. Yes. I love that one.
those are fun.
It's so fun. Yeah.
I like when
I know
it's
there's this.
satisfying when they all spawn in the same place and you just bounce the spot. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think even more satisfying is like when you like jump onto one and you still have the forward momentum. I saw
Oh
one video
yeah.
where someone jumped on them 5 in a row. They just kept going straight. They didn't have to use the glider.
What? That's crazy.
That was
That's so
so good.
lucky.
Yeah, that's like because it's all randomized,
Yeah,
and
insane.
that I had all 5 in a row. Awesome. Peachy on Genshin. So I would say the Gourmet Supremos ones. Is Gourmet Supreme or Supremos?
So it's Supremos.
Yeah, either
It's
one.
Supremos.
Yeah, but I got them all and was able to get the world quest that was bugged into 3.1. I got the three recipes in Sumeru, but now it's the egg finding one in Port Ormos. I remember this guy because I think this guy was the one where he was talking about, making mora off of food.
Wait, no, the Gourmet
And
Supremos
then
was like. Wait, wasn't the Gourmet
I don't remember the name
Supremos
of it.
the people who the people who like the group of people who are chefs and they're like traveling around, right? Like that's like a world quest, right?
Um,
You remember that?
hmm.
And then
Because I remember them in
I
Inazuma.
think the current Gordon Supremos Gourmet Supremos one was one like in um Inazuma where they're like asking for Chef Mao's uh like how can I make this really good dish? And so like I need
Mm-hmm.
some experienced chef to help me. And then they said, can you bring this
Is
all the
he
way
in
to Liyue?
Sumeru now?
I don't think it's in Sumeru. No, in Sumeru now they're saying, oh wait, I got 3 recipes in Sumeru. Oh, I guess so. I don't know. Oh, let me see. Gourmet.
I thought this was talking about the guy that gave you Moro because of the food that you brought to him. Mm,
Because there's world quests.
that's egg
There's 6 world
finding.
quests. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think Peach is mixing up the world quest Gourmet Supremos with the daily commission Gourmet Supremos because there's both.
Probably.
But okay, yeah, Peachy, let us
But
know if that's right.
oh, I know about the egg finding one in Port Almost. Yeah, I know about that because it's right next to one of the portals.
The egg finding? I don't think I've
Or,
done
yeah, it's
that.
right next to. I mean, basically, it's just you. Um, yeah, it's a very short run, but I remember just like going there and just it's like right around the corner or something. I only got it like once or twice. And the last one is from hey, very simple name, Mr. James. The commissions that have you protect those statues from the enemies. Hashtag Sayu. So I believe that's the leyline monolith. Or it could be something else, but protecting the statues from enemies? Yeah, sounds like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one.
I guess
We
hashtag
have
Sayu
missed a lot.
because hashtag Sayu
we
because it's just spinning around. I guess.
yeah. That that was 3 weeks worth of community questions and my goodness, that could have been a whole episode on its own.
Right?
But this is a question that I want to ask all of you guys. It's because we talked about this very early on in this episode. It's about the Wanderer and what we named it. We're curious about what did you name your Wanderer and why? Family friendly, please. Keep it family friendly.
Yeah.
Because I know the game doesn't let you choose a weird one.
Yeah. And if you didn't yet name your
Um,
wanderer, like what are you thinking of naming your wanderer? Like what's your thinking process for that?
Also, I'm curious if you tried to name your Wanderer something and it rejected it.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious what you tried. Because I know there's certain names that you can't make them. Like, you can't actually choose. I don't think you can choose Scaramouche
Oh right.
because he says, I don't want that name. Um,
Interesting.
and then you can't name him Traveler.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious what you tried to. Either what you did or what you tried and what failed.
Also want to thank Brendan Rudd, Peachy on Genshin, Yai Fanboy Fabs for commenting on all three of these questions for the past 3 weeks. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to your next community answers.
So, what do you think, Joshua? I think it's about time to wrap up because this is probably the longest episode in Genshin Guy's history. What a way to kick off the new year.
Yeah, for reals. So everyone, thank you so much for all your support. Like I said again, we'll be posting more information about the live stream that's coming up soon, and be following our updates on Twitter. I'll be streaming on Twitch. But that wraps up for the show for today. As always, thanks for listening. If you have time, please leave us a comment and a review. We'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, as well as our joint Twitter account, which is at Genshin Guys Pod. And my Twitch is twitch.tv/jside. And Kahi is at Kahiao, KahiyaO, on all social medias, or rather Twitter and YouTube, I believe. So thank you all again so much. We're having hopefully a great new year this year, and let's make this community the best Genshin community there is. So
big goals,
big goals, right? Go big or go home. So as always, everybody,
Ad Astra Abyssals.
星と支援を目指せ。
Enjoy.